recently and for no recently and recently and
Hello and welcome everyone to the Candidate Blitz 2024. My name's Joe. I'm joined by the amazing one and only woman grandmaster Jennifer Yu. Jennifer, it's an honor. Um,
Hi, really happy to be here.
yeah, we're working to get the chess.com board up for now. But in the meantime, we have the live camera. So we're gonna have to go off that. I'm gonna rely mainly on Jennifer to do the chess commentary.
And also it looks like something is happening here over the board. Not really sure what just happened, but did they? Oh, they're starting over.
um,
Maybe it's a. I think this might have been a raw opponent. Is
it
it?
was just it was a ceremonial game start perhaps and
Maybe,
just
yeah.
some
Maybe it was just
more.
a little warm up.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm happy to be able to help produce. That's my main role here. Jennifer, I think you were just actually hanging out with Nemo like in person in Boston the other day.
Yeah, that was really fun. I go to school here in Boston, so it was really awesome to see her again, and she's waving to us on the camera. But yeah, it looks like I'm assuming that the tournament didn't actually start, and we were just getting a little preview there. Um, but oh,
I'm
is
gonna
there?
try to email the organizer because we do have an events page set up for the chess.com board, but I do not see her board yet. Um,
Okay,
maybe their
well,
pairings aren't out yet.
nothing like welcome back to Twitch without some technical difficulty. So we're gonna get through this. At least it looks like the tournament hasn't started, so we have some time to figure this out. But
I'm just glad that you're actually back to streaming. I know you've been saying that you haven't had much time or you've been busy, but fun fact for everyone that's probably watching on Nemo stream, but Jennifer is actually live right now.
yeah, this is a very rare occurrence, almost as rare as the eclipse. Not sure if anybody saw it today, but yeah, I'm trying to. I've been known to be an on and off streamer, basically whenever school isn't killing me, and but I'm really happy today to come onto Nemo stream and have a little take a little my hiatus off from Twitch back to be back here. Did you see the eclipse today,
I
Joe?
am in LA. It kind of passed by kind of like the Midwest and the East. Did you see it?
Well, I came out of class. There was a bunch of people standing around. I just decided to join the mob. Saw it for a little bit. We didn't really have totality, so the sky was like slightly darker by a little bit. And it came back. So it was just nice to be outside. The weather was amazing. Here in Boston today, it was 60 degrees and sunny. So it's been a nice change from the rain and the gloominess of like the last couple of weeks.
That sounds great. Yeah, I'm pretty blessed with the good weather. It's been raining a little bit. We see Nemo just signed someone's board. So it's tough to start a Blitz tournament when you're just famous, right? I mean, I'm sure you've had to deal with such things as well, signing boards before your games start.
Yeah, I mean, she's definitely juggling many things here at once. But I'm excited to see who her opponent is because maybe the last one wasn't actually an opponent. It was just someone who wanted to come play a few moves. But
Just wanted a quick warm up. 3+2 is pretty fast, right? And it looks like she's ready to play with the white pieces. So,
yeah,
do you know much about
yes.
Nemo's opening repertoire?
I think I've known just a fair bit from playing her in Blitz and over the board, but I know people also tend to like to play different things for Blitz, just because you can get away with certain openings, and if you're more familiar with some sidelines, that might be a good option. So I'm excited to see what she'll play over the board today. But yes, 3+2 is definitely pretty fast, especially since over the board that 2 second increment doesn't last as long as you think. I speak from experience as someone who just played a lot of rapid tournaments, rapid games over the board, and flagged in quite a few games. So it definitely goes by pretty fast.
So this is a 9 round Swiss. Usually large tournaments like open tournaments will have like a side blitz event. Um, I know like the National Open, North American Open, these are tournaments in Vegas that I've played personally. Will have a blitz tournament as well. I actually see Crypto Chess, who is international master Alex Katz, who played at Reykjavik Open. He won the Reykjavik Blitz with a perfect score of 9-9, which is pretty impressive. Do you like to play in these side blitz events, Jennifer, or like are you there usually just competing in the main tournament?
It's actually been a while since I've played in a tournament with a side blitz event. Um, but I think it's usually fun, especially when it's towards the end and you just want to, just hang out, play some blitz, and talk to your friends. But I actually played a few like actual blitz tournaments recently. So I just came from the American Cup where there was some blitz playoffs. So I played technically the longest match in American Cup history because I played, I think it was like 10 games altogether in one day, just with many different playoffs. And that was definitely very fun and very unpredictable format.
Yeah, Blitz is definitely unpredictable. It's a bit crazier. Nemo, I think she said that her Blitz is actually a bit lower rated, like 2100, I'm assuming, which for me is like really high, right? But for her, pretty low, apparently. So, um, yeah, maybe we could start a prediction in the chat with the mods and see what people think Nemo's gonna do. This is a pretty strong field, right? It seems like everyone's in town for candidates. They're in Toronto. I know Shakhriyar Mabadyarov is playing in this. I believe he's the second for like Abasov, so he probably is pretty fresh on his stuff. I see actually more boards, which is great. And I also see Nemo's opponent looks like has arrived. Yeah.
There we go. I think we're beginning finally. But yeah, I think it's interesting to see how the online blitz breeding might translate into on to real life chess, real life blitz, just because you can't get away with flagging like you do online. But I mean, it's definitely possible to flag over the board, but um, but I think it's a lot harder to play for tricks over the board.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually see her game, which is great. So I'm gonna try my best to add it now on the fly while we're doing this.
Okay, so we don't have a. Oh, we do have an actual board.
Yes. And unfortunately, I'm gonna have to block out our opponent a little bit to add this board, but I should have it. There is an events page on chess.com if people want to go try to find that. Maybe a mod could set up some sort of command. I see a mod put the prediction in the chat, which is great. It's so nice to have mods, right, Jennifer?
Yeah, no, this is it's definitely very convenient.
Yeah, shout out to the
And nice.
mod. Probably
Great job, mods. You're carrying the stream.
Yeah, I see the mod in chat. It's Buttsbot. It's kind of a joke. It's one of the I don't anyways. um Also shout out to Ulan for gifting me a sub to your channel, and shout out to Passpon subbing to my channel. Guys, we're live on 5 channels right now. Also shout out to Grumpy the Penguin. Also shout out to Kevin. I mean, everyone's really tuning in here. Mostly for Nemo, but also largely for Jennifer, I'm sure. And I see Photo Chess. Lots of celebrities tuning in. This is a big event, Jennifer.
Are you excited?
I don't know if you can tell. I can't wait.
Like, this has been a while since I did this. I'm excited.
Yeah, last time I remember you did commentary. I think it was for Final Four, or maybe it was Pan Am's.
I never did commentary for those just because I play Panims. So
Yeah.
so I couldn't do that, but it's definitely a really fun tournament, and I'd love to do something with it in the future.
It must have been, I'm pretty sure you did commentary for Final Four one year. Maybe like 2-3 years ago.
Maybe a while back.
Yeah. But yeah, you're busy. I know you're like in your 3rd year at Harvard.
Yeah. So things are we're starting to get close to the end of the semester, so definitely getting a little more busy. This is actually a pretty tough week. It's gonna lead up to me, but I'm happy to take some time right now to do this because I think this will be quite fun.
Yeah, so I'm sure a lot of fans are excited that you're gonna start streaming more. Okay, Nemo says board in the middle would be perfect, so I gotta move this thing. Let's see. I'm waiting for the clocks maybe to show up as well. Because we have their usernames on the left-hand side, so it's a little off-center. But
Yeah, so
I'm trying. I see it, Nemo. She's like messaging me in multiple places. All right, they're clapping. Round of applause for probably they're announcing things.
Yep. Oh. I wonder who they're introducing right now. It's kind of funny to see them just clap without any context.
Yeah,
But
I'm not sure why the audio is not working for her camera. But it's okay. As long as the people can see what's happening and they can hear us, I think we can at least make a show still.
yep. And looks like Nemo is entering this round. She's playing Satish, who he's from Canada and is a bit lower rated than her, but you know, something I've learned is that you can never discount these kids, especially in Blitz. So I'm excited to see how this round goes.
Yeah, a lot of players here, obviously from Canada. It's in Toronto. I think it's showing the FIDE rating, so she should be the favorite in this first round.
Can I just intrude and say how awesome it is to have the candidates in North America, because we never have any big international tournaments here, so it's pretty nice to see as North American players who always have to travel to the other side of the world.
Yeah, last year it was in Spain, yeah?
Yes, I believe, but I think the last time a big tournament like this was in the North America was probably the World Championship match in New York a few years ago.
Yeah, the last World Championship before Ding beat Nepo, I think that was Nepo versus Magnus. That was in Dubai, right? Those were rough start times. All right, we have a handshake and the moves are being played. We have E4, E5, a Roy Lopez from Nemo.
Okay, so it looks like they're both playing pretty quietly and cautiously, which is a good strategy in Blitz in the beginning. You just want to get your moves out there, not use too much time.
Yeah, this is still pretty much theory. She's castled early, going for d3. I know a lot of times players can try to push for d4 and put a rook on the e file. Instead, she brings out her dark square bishop, her opponent castles, and she tucks her bishop back on c2.
Yep, and I'm gonna imagine that we're gonna see some things happening in the center at some point. A lot of maneuvering here for sure.
Yeah, rook e1 played. Opponent moves the queen to c8, maybe lining up a sacrifice on h3. Nemo just doesn't even allow that, king h2.
e5, getting some space, and then knight d2, just getting all the pieces out.
Yeah, now she just needs to lift the queen, connect her rooks, and they can start the middle game. Dead even pretty much so far, but she's gained about 30 seconds on the clock. She's barely used any time. Her opponent thinking for the longest think here so far.
And especially once you start hitting under a minute, that 2-second increment is really not going to save you too much. It's just going to give you enough time to make your moves, and you really can't think too much on it. So this time advantage is definitely really important here.
Yeah, and she's keeping up with the speed. She brings her knight back, probably rerouting to g3, and we see black pushing in the center.
We get a capture, so now the center is open. Takes back with the pawn. So, yeah, black takes open the open file, and it looks like king h7. Oh, okay, so both sides are really wary about this. Bishop takes h3, bishop takes h6 sacrifice. That's the thing about Blitz, is that you can often get away with sacrifices even if you're not sure of exactly how they pan out, just because it's oftentimes just like so hard to defend when you're under attack and you're low on time.
Yeah, so the players are being extra cautious here. Love both players have the queen on the c file lined up behind the bishops. There's a lot of symmetry here, actually. So overall, I just like Nemo's time advantage. She still has a minute more than her opponent here, and that she's looking to hopefully push. And we see she's fianchettoing the queen. Do you think she's going to go for like c4 at some point?
4 is possible at some point, but I think it's pretty difficult in the near future, just because it lets go of some of these important squares and before d4. But I think right now the important thing is just to maneuver and get all your pieces to like the best place, and then start playing for more concrete moves. Like here, like knight h4 looks pretty nice. We want to put a knight on f5, attack the weakness on d6 and g7, and rook d2 is also a great move. You just want to improve your position.
Wow.
Oh, and here I think, yeah, bishop c5 looks a little. There was a little tactic there. It looks like with rook takes c7 and
yeah,
getting the 2 pieces, but it's pretty hard to make these one move tactical to make these, to catch these tactics in Blitz, because it's like just literally a 1-second split decision. But knight d5 looks amazing, putting the knight into the center of the board.
Yeah, really strong knight. Opponent rerouting their knight over to g6. Yeah, tactic missed. Rook d7. The bishop on c5 would have been hanging. But Nemo, she's sticking with her speed. So she's still around 2 minutes. Opponent hovering just above 1 minute. That's twice his time. And if he made that one mistake early, there's surely more to come.
Yes. And important thing to note is that like Nemo has the time advantage here, and also she has a little bit of space advantage, and her pieces are easier to maneuver, which is even if like a position is dead even by evaluation, these are the aspects that like make it Blitz so hard to play, just because if you're even slightly on the defense, you have the pressure on where if you make a mistake, it could be game over. So having a easier to play position is almost like a huge advantage in Blitz sometimes.
Yeah, this knight on c6 is tied down defending this. If the knight were to move and this rook doesn't have the support, there's always this knight f6 sacrifice with check, and the doubled rooks open up. So we see the rook lifting, supported by the pawn now. Lots of trades are flooding in. I don't know if the DGT board can keep up at some point.
Yeah, it looks like here. Oh, okay.
Yeah, she pushed c4, recapture. He's getting low on clock too, less than 30 seconds. Ooh.
When the bishop takes d5, looks like it was a bit of a mistake because now white has this strong center, and this pin on from the c2 to g6, and yeah, putting pressure on that will be really difficult for black to defend because this bishop on c2 is just so strong. It's hitting all of the light squares, and now Nemo gets like the pawn, and from here she can trade into an endgame if she wants, or she can decide to keep the pressure on, attack the king, but both look like pretty strong options.
I love this. Queen a3, keeping the queen on the board. Usually queen trades favor the side with the weaker king, and that right now is black because the knight is pinned by this awesome bishop. And now we see a fork, c5, ignoring the threat. Yeah, this is beautiful chess from Nemo.
Yeah, it's just strong, like that queen and the rook. Looks like here she's just picking up a full rook, because if you take on d6 and take on f5, that pawn is looking awfully dangerous. Or bishop d3.
This is
even better, much more cleaner. Now it's just a full.
Love that. Yeah, she's having her cake and eating it too. She's bringing the king out. Queen d3 check is going to be really annoying. That's exactly what we're... Oh, she takes on a6 first, then goes to d3. I think the video is faster than the DGT board, I think. Like, I don't know what to watch.
Yeah, I mean, here we just have to...
All right.
Yeah, well, I think... Do we have a checkmate? Or it was close to a checkmate. And then... it's a resignation, but... full rook. Really nice, really nice how she went from the pretty even position, and then slowly you saw gaining more of a control in the center, and then eventually hitting like knight h4, trying to hit the weaknesses on the king side.
Yeah, so perfect start for Nemo. Couldn't ask for a better start. I mean, really solid win. We saw the players are handshaking, and now maybe a little post-game analysis before the next round.
Yeah, these are always great moments after a game when you can talk about it with your opponent, and then talk about different ideas and things that you might have seen and missed. Like, you know, one of the best things is after, or one of the funniest things is after a game when there's something that you see that like has concerned you for a long time, and you talk to your opponent about it, and they have no idea what you're talking about. There's always some great moments of insight here.
Yeah, I'm sure, like, when you're playing against some of the greats at, like, U.S. Women's Championship, like, those are some of the best moments, being able to converse with, I mean, you've played against so many legends, typically in St. Louis, right? But what was the last major tournament? Was it American Cup?
Yeah, the last major tournament I played was American Cup. That was just a fun little spring break tournament, but it was definitely a fun event just because it was a lot of rapid and blitz. Not so much classical, only played 2 classical games. So it was definitely an interesting format. Hadn't played anything like that before.
I love, you know, when people are in college and they think about spring break, usually it's like some beach destination, but not for Jennifer Yu. She's playing in chess tournaments.
No, I was on the over chessboard in St. Louis. No, I had some moments there where I would just see everybody I knew, they were all in Cancun or Miami or something, like the classic spring break, especially when you're in Boston and you just want to get somewhere warm after like a winter of like 30 degrees.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, so looks like the prediction goes to Nemo. A lot of believers are rewarded in the chat. You love to see it. And now we just wait for the next round to begin. And now Nemo has to greet some more fans, of course.
Busy woman, busy woman. Maybe you can look at some of the other results in the tournament.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. There is a results page, actually. Who do you think is the favorite to win this event? Besides Nemo, of course.
This is honestly, there's a lot of, well, it looks like by rating, Mamedarov is, Mamedarov and Barib is, are pretty high up there, 2700. But I think it's really hard to say with Blitz because it could just be like one little move that throws a game. So it's like definitely the most unpredictable, I think, out of all the formats to say a favorite unless there's someone who's like a major Blitz specialist. But yeah, that's also a thing. You can't really throw off some of these people who probably have much higher ratings online than over the board. But I'm definitely I'm a bit hesitant to give a favorite about who I think will win. I don't know what you think though. You might have a different opinion from me.
Well, no, I totally agree with you. I see Shakhriyar Mamedyarov won his first game. No shocker there. I'm actually receiving word that apparently the organizers took a while to add the boards because they had to do a repairing. So players, I guess sometimes last minute either don't show or withdraw or even register. I don't know when the registration deadline was. But another really big name that a lot of people know that is playing in this tournament is Alexandra Kosteniuk, actually, also known as Chess Queen. And I see Photo Chess is talking about her in the chat, actually.
Yep, always great to see some top women players participating.
I'm sure you've played
Especially
it.
since I imagine she's traveled quite a bit for this.
Yeah, there's a lot of big names that have traveled to Toronto. Have you ever seen a candidates tournament, Jennifer, in person?
No, I haven't. I really wish I did when I was in New York. I said a few years ago, but that must have been how many? Like probably 8 years ago. I'm not really sure exactly what year it was, but I just remember I was pretty young back then. Definitely maybe in middle school. I can't put the exact year to it, but it was the Carlson Karyakin, I believe, match. But that definitely should have been my opportunity to go because ever since then it's all been international and it's been hard to travel to, especially with school.
Yeah, that makes a lot of
But
sense.
yeah, but one of these days, if I'm not playing, no, I'm kidding.
Oh,
I'm
come on. I mean, hey,
kidding.
you could totally be playing. You could totally, I mean, you're already a champion. You
Yeah,
could
I
be,
mean, we'll have to do a little career change, go into professional chess for a while, but it's not it's definitely on the bucket list.
yeah, yeah. Why go watch a candidates when you can go play in one? So, love that. Nemo
Yes.
trying to adjust the camera a little bit. Looks like she's getting ready for round 2. She's gonna have the black pieces. I also saw Aryan Tari is registered in this event, so that'll be exciting. I wonder if she's gonna get paired with one of these like top GMs.
I think like from the rating wise, I think her next game will she be playing? No, she might still be playing down. But I think if she wins that game, she's definitely going to play a pretty top player.
Yeah, she's
There's a It's also pretty interesting to see how wide the rating spread is in this tournament because you have unrateds and you also have 2700s, which I don't think you can really see anywhere else.
yeah, there's only one section, just the open, so everyone's gonna be playing together. I know some of these side blitz events, they'll separate it by rating. They'll have like an open and then an under. People asking where's Catsko? Catsko, I don't think is in the playing hall, unfortunately. But you saw Nemo got a new cat, right?
Oh, wait, I can't believe I missed this.
Yeah, she's got like a whole cat tree in the background, and he's just chilling there, like mostly eating snacks or sleeping.
No, we should definitely have had a cat cam for this commentary. It was a missed opportunity.
Yeah, they could have swapped me out for sure for Catsko. I think people would probably prefer that, but
Okay, but it looks like the next round is starting soon. Our I don't know. I don't think the parents are up yet, but um, we do have some standings.
Nemo tied for first place, right? As
Yep,
expected.
tied for first place.
Yep. Always a good start.
Casco is an FM feline feline
Feline Master, yes. Stronger title than I'll ever have. Oh, I see Mike Klein is also in, representing the US. Also Atusa is playing. I think after Hikaru's game, he said that if he lost, I think he would have played in this Blitz tournament, which would have been pretty funny.
Oh, that would have been an awesome opportunity. Yeah. Maybe if they... Well, I think it's pretty difficult to get players to agree to play a Blitz tournament in the middle of the candidates, but that would have been a great, really cool opportunity if some of the candidates players decided to come. Just when you're in that tournament zone, it's hard to take a night off.
Well, what's funny, like Hikaru may be joking about playing in the Blitz. We see pretty much like every major tournament, Alareza's constantly playing like Bullet at 3 in the morning with Danya, right? So these players know how to balance, I guess this. Well, I mean, I don't know. Alareza hasn't won a candidates yet, but maybe if he keeps at it, he can do it.
Maybe that's a secret. I mean, do you think playing Blitz or Bullet during the tournament might help or distract?
Honestly, I don't think I don't think it hurts that much. Like it depends. Some of them start like super late and end super late. So, obviously, I think today was a bye, right, for the candidates, like the day off. So maybe it wouldn't have been that bad. But obviously, none of the players are actually playing. So I think they're all pretty focused, and they definitely know better than me, right? So maybe there's something about it. Just spends extra time and energy. Maybe like I think like the pro chess players say that the speed chess kind of can like instill bad habits, right? Like I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I think it just depends on how focused you need to be during a tournament because everybody has a different tournament routine. I like to, take some time just to like do my normal day-to-day things, just like go on social media, go on TikTok a little bit. So personally, I don't think it affects me a lot, but also I am not I've never only played chess, I've always been in school, so I think I have a different situation. But it's definitely interesting to hear from some of the top players what their opinion might be on it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just assuming that by them not playing, probably they're trying to conserve their energy and maybe also their like opening prep.
Yeah, I think it's definitely different to play a few games of Blitz online than playing the whole Blitz tournament in person. Like I think when you're playing online, you could just be like in your pajamas, eating some takeout or something.
Yeah.
Definitely a lot less a lot less time and also a lot more comfortable.
All right, well, waiting for round two. Yeah, she said that the internet, she's like using her data, so we apologize if the stream is a little bit laggy, but we're doing the best that we can with the resources. Also, Photo Chess and a couple other viewers noticed she sneezed, so bless you to Nemo. Yes, I am wearing a suit, Nemo. She's asking me.
Wait, I feel underdressed for this. Nobody told me the dress code.
Listen, I don't have a lot of opportunities to be commentating some of the biggest games that are happening right now in the chess world. You yourself, future potential candidate player, I'm sure you will
I feel like
have.
we have to stop saying that. I'm gonna get hated on for that
No, 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 no
because all I've done
haters.
is lose rating.
Let your
But
haters be the motivators.
that's true. That's true. Maybe I need more hate from that, and then I will. That's what will fuel me there.
You're gonna hate your way to the top. Just
Yeah.
prove them all wrong. Honestly, you gotta fake it till you make it, they say. So maybe you've been losing rating, but I mean you're in school. You've got a long future ahead of you for chess. I know you're chasing a couple more titles, but I don't think there's a title out there that you can't get.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that.
Yes, Mike Klein is supposed to be playing. Also, thank you to Filemon 500 for the sub. 13 months. Mike drank too much on the boat, says PhotoChess. So we have some insider information on one of my coworkers, Mike Klein, from Maria. Another one of my coworkers, by the way. Maria is the famous photographer. I'm sure she's taken a lot of good photos of you. At some of these
Yes, yes. I
tournaments.
feel like I've seen Maria all over the world.
Yeah, I've met her a few times. She's taken photos of me because I had to bribe her a little bit. Well, it was more of a transactional trade. She was trying to buy a Nintendo Switch, but I think there was an issue with maybe shipping, or maybe it was like too much to ship to her place. So chess.com has an annual meetup every year, and the trade-off was I'll get the Switch for her and bring it with me, and she'll take some photos of me. So uh, those are the photos that we used for like on chess.com's events page for the Collegiate Chess League. So it worked out.
So really solid trade.
Yeah.
Quid pro quo.
Dr. Banco at 30 months. Who's the longest tenured sub in chat right now? I see Nemo herself is a 3-year subscriber. So anyone? Dr. Banco's almost at 3 years, not quite. Half a year shy. You have some fans in chat, Jennifer.
Oh, hello, good people. Hello, everyone.
Okay, next opponent maybe about to. She's still taking photos. Um, I don't know how professional they can be. I don't think it's Maria taking the photos, but it does look like a fancy camera.
Oh, that's a massive lens.
Yes, Jennifer Yu is commentating. She's awoken from her streaming slumber for this very important opportunity. Whoa, Ulan at 46 months. That's crazy.
Wow, 46 months.
That's almost 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anyone's gonna top that, honestly, in this stream.
That's from like the very beginning.
Well, he's got the founder's badge to prove it. Okay, I don't know if you see the butt spot, but it's pretty funny. I'm still not used to it.
Is it what is it?
I think it just takes random messages in chat and just replaces a certain word with the word but.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know whose idea
Oh,
that
and
was,
now
but
it looks like Nemo has gone her opponent. And pull the board up.
she's playing against Henry Pollitt, 1741. All right, so she's got the black pieces this time. She's playing a slightly stronger opponent, as expected in the Swiss format, but she's still very clearly the rating favorites. Expecting another win for her. Maybe another prediction. Yes, the prediction has started. The mods are on top of it.
Good job, mods. Yes, but I think this is he's a little slightly higher than her last opponent. So I think after this game, whoever wins will be playing a top seed.
All right, we see a handshake, and he's starting off with e4. Is this an Italian? They're playing so much faster than the board right now.
Yeah, it looks like the board is stuck a little bit on the opening.
I think it was a Joko piano. I'm not sure though.
Yeah.
Whoa, a sacrifice on
Yeah,
f7?
Is the board updating at all?
No, unfortunately.
No.
Not for
Okay,
me, at
we
least.
just have e4, e5, knight f3, but you can see at least chat can see that yeah, that they've done quite a bit of trades. Oh, and did he do an art? Did she do an
The
art
moves are
castle?
flying in now. So yes, it was a Joko piano out of an Italian. A sacrifice on f7 with queen b3 check, and Nemo castles by hand, bring the rook to f8, and then king back to g8.
Yep, so this is a famously pretty even position. I think here it makes a lot of sense to just yeah, so he played knight d2. The board hasn't updated yet, but both sides should just try to develop and get all the pieces out. So Nemo does have a little concern here, which is how do you get the bishop out without losing the b7 pawn. But so she plays knight d6, moving the knight out of the way and also protecting this b7 pawn. Makes a lot of sense, but you might want to watch out for this d5 pawn later.
Okay, so knight into e5. We see the move c6, solidifying the d5 pawn. And yeah, the bishop still has to come out. Queen has to come out. So white's a little bit ahead in development. And we also see Nemo has spent a lot more time here than we saw in the first game. Looks like she just picked up her bishop, and she's going to f5.
Plays knight f3. So this knight is outposted here on e5, which is a really nice place for his knight to be, but I wonder now if she can take an opportunity to play something like bishop e4 and try to put some pressure down this f file and maybe get this knight on e5 out eventually. But if this seems like a pretty even position for both sides, and they're pretty even on time as well. So this is definitely more of a going to be more of a fight, I think, in the next couple of moves.
Yeah, it's definitely balanced. And we see he actually already brings the knight back, wants to flush out the bishop on e4 immediately. But the good news for Nemo is if we see that capture, the knight can take back and put more pressure on f2.
I wonder if she's gonna play e5 at some point because I really like this move. You're kicking this queen out of this pretty like prime position. This queen is like attacking a lot of interesting, a lot of important squares, and you can gain some space on the queen side. Maybe play a4, eventually do something like a3, and just try to create some weaknesses on this side as well because a lot of this play has been focused on the center, the king side.
Yeah, that definitely makes a lot of sense. Nemo spent about 30 seconds on that move to play bishop back to f5 because she doesn't want the knight to take the bishop. So she's holding on to her bishop. Maybe she's going to put the knight to e4, but as you said, this queen is attacking a lot of key squares, including this b7 pawn. So our knight on d6 doesn't quite want to move just yet. That reinforces your idea of a5, a4, taking space, kicking the queen back. Instead, we see rook to b8. So just defending b7, and now the knight is free to move, probably to e4.
Yeah. Yeah, so once this knight comes out, the hope is that it'll be easier to get more space and play and develop the pieces. Because right now, this knight on d6 was held down on b7, the queen was held down on the knight. So this will possibly kind of untie the position a little bit for black.
So we see knight b3, maybe going for c5. I'm not sure where else it would want to go. But the knight from c5 would put more pressure on the b pawn. Yeah, knight goes into e4 now. Nemo's under a minute.
So the knight on e4 is coming to attack this pawn on f2. It might make a lot of sense for white to play something like f3 just to kick the knight out, take away this e4 square. He plays knight c5 instead, offering to trade the knights, and it's pretty funny to see the pieces jump back and forth. Like the bishop was on e4, then was back on f5. The knight was on e4. Oh, now queen h4. So she's definitely playing a lot more aggressive here, which I really like to see. I think that if your opponent creates a threat, you should, if you have a way to defend by creating a counter threat, that's definitely the way to go, especially in Blitz. You know, the more chances you make, the better. So after knight takes e4, bishop takes e4, this f file is open. Probably going to kick the bishop back with f3. And now we have this strong knight on e5 versus this bishop.
Yeah, with that pair of knights traded off the board, dark square knight is going to be really good long term for white because the only minor piece Nemo has is a light square bishop, which could never attack the dark squares. So f3, as you called it, bishop's going to tuck back somewhere. How do we deal with this knight? I mean, at some point, could we ever play for c5? It doesn't seem possible.
Yeah, this knight actually seems quite scary to play against just because it can sit there and it's quite annoying because it's threatening to play knight e7, it's attacking his pawn at c6, tying the b pawn down. It's doing a lot from e5. It's also defending the king side. So displacing it will definitely be a challenge. And I think that white is definitely it's a lot simpler to play white in this position. So as the time gets lower, this will be a bit of a challenge. So it looks like they just made a.
Yeah.
Did they just make a ton? They played some.
There's a lot of moves that are gonna have to flood in. Someone's asking if they lost on time. No, Nemo has not lost on time. The DGT board is just flooding the moves in right now. So bear with us. Absolute time scramble for both sides, less than 20 seconds each.
But white is playing really accurately here, just attacking all of the weak pawns. Like this is just really great positional chess.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they're both playing bullet right now. Like there's no time to think with a couple seconds left. And there's a queen e3 check, which is great fun by Nemo. Just kind of giving her all the chances because before it was looking kind of scary there on the queen side, but now white has to be pretty careful.
There was a tactic miss.
Especially with the back ring. Was there a tactic after
That's what the computer said. I didn't see it personally, but yeah, it looks like White was doing great. As you said, great positional chess. White grabbed a pawn on a6. Now they have a passed a pawn, but that allowed Nemo to come in with e3 check, picking off Black's d pawn. They trade the minor pieces. So now we have a race of pawns.
Oh, queen d4 here, or I think rook d4 exhausts, but here it's still like very equal because it's hard to say with these. Um, oh, rook. Oh no, rook takes c6. You got the right
Wow.
idea. Just miss that
Nemo
queen
covers
d8.
the back rank. A huge blunder from her opponent, and we see handshakes. Oh my goodness.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
Wow. Yeah. No, White thought they had a back rank tactic, but Nemo was one move ahead. Her queen on a5 guarded d8 through the rook that got traded. So bailed out by a blunder, maybe. I mean, time pressure, scramble, everything. She comes out on top, but that was a very close game.
No, definitely really close. A lot of like White played so well positionally in the end, and eventually Nemo came back with all of these counterattacks and these checks, and the back rake proved to be such an important tactic in the end. And I think we've all had those moments where think you see something brilliant, and then all of a sudden your opponent has this something that stops it, and it's definitely a really heartbreaking moment. But it was super exciting chess, so that was fun to watch.
Yeah, Nemo in the chat saying that was crazy. I'm sure if we had a heart rate monitor, it would be pretty high up there. And this is only 2 rounds in out of 9. So long tournament left to be played.
Yeah, but rook c6.
I want to go back and
Oh,
see what the tactic was that was missed. There was knight g4. Oh, apparently just h5.
oh, knight is dropped.
Yeah, that's crazy. So yeah, right here you were saying White's just playing really good positional chess. Nemo goes for the active queen h6 square.
Yeah, queen h6 was a beautiful move just because it creates so many chances. If the queen moves, you got queen 3 like she played, but also your eye in the c8 square. So if you eventually like move this rook or like try to take on c6, there's always going to be tactics involved.
Yeah, so really nice find here from Nemo. She's definitely worse. White has a huge clamp on the c file, really active knight, and White thought they could get away with taking this a pawn, getting a passed a pawn of their own, but as you said, this gives up a key square on e3 with this check. Nemo's able to break down White's center. That's going to flush the knight out of the center as well, leading to this mistake. Not really punished, as Nemo didn't play h5. I think she was just happy to trade off for that knight and also win a pawn. But yeah, her opponent just wasn't able to hang in the time pressure. So Nemo came out on top. So crazy round 2. I can't wait for round 3 and see who she's going to play. Nemo's doing another round of photos as well. She's not only playing a chess tournament, she's doing a photography tournament as well. So definitely be sure to follow Nemo's socials if you want to see how all the photos turn out. I'm sure they're being professionally done.
We get a little BTS behind the scenes.
Thank you, Sammy. Appreciate you, man. Yeah, very intense. Someone asked if there's increment. It is plus 2-second increment. 3 plus 2 is fast.
It was really fast. Because just making the move will take like a second at least. So you're
Yeah.
really just trying to using that increment to not flag.
Yeah, I think people online are used to this 3 plus 0 blitz. But when you're playing over an actual board, you have to take into account the time it takes to actually physically move the piece and hit the clock, right? So can't really play without the increments seriously over the board. I think this is FIDE rated. This is a FIDE Blitz tournament, so I don't know like the exact like rules. Obviously, it's still touch piece, um, so it's not like clock move. But do you know like FIDE probably wouldn't do a tournament with without increment, right?
I've never seen like a Blitz tournament without rating actually, without increment online, other than online. I think
Yeah.
most of them have the 2 second. Otherwise, it's just Armageddon. And I think a lot of places have been trying to phase out Armageddon as like
Hmm.
a tiebreaker. But personally, I think Armageddon's kind of fun. You're just throwing around pieces at the end, but it's a really interesting format and it forces a result. So you don't have to play playoff games for hours.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting in candidates they don't have increments until move 40, right? Isn't that is that has it always been like that or is that fairly new?
They don't have increment
Until move
um
40
in the regular game
in the candidates tournament, yeah.
and the classical.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Where I
yeah.
feel like I should have been aware of this. Oh, is it delay?
I don't know the exact time control. I feel like it's what, 2 hours for the first 40 moves, and
Oh,
then
right, they changed it. I saw this. I saw this a while ago. They changed this.
yeah, so that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, that's definitely different. 2 hours is also a long time. I
I'm
feel like I
pretty
used
sure.
to play 2 hour games with Sun Def, but those usually had delay, if I remember. But that was from a few years ago. I think the standard nowadays is like 90 minutes with 30-second increment, and sometimes they have Sun Def, and sometimes they don't.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so the women's tournament still has increment. So two tournaments with different time controls.
that's interesting.
I believe that they had a vote about the time control like the players did. So that should be why there are different time controls. So I think it'll be interesting to hear from the players on why they voted the way they did.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I didn't know that the candidates open and the candidates for women was different time controls.
Yeah, if you had a vote, what time control do you think you would go for?
Oh, I need the increment.
Yeah,
I'm a slowpoke notoriously.
yeah, I agree with you. I think that's the way to go for me personally.
Yeah, 40 moves and no increments tough. Although I guess they have extra time, huh?
Mhm.
All right, so Nemo's she's meeting new fans. She's finished a couple rounds with different paparazzi. Still talking to more fans, waiting for round 3 to begin. So she's 2 for 2 right now. Um, do you think which round do you think Nemo would start to no longer be the favorite?
Well, my guess was third round
This
there
one
would
right now.
be, but I might be off. I might be off. If I could pull up the standings and see.
Yeah, apparently Alexander Kosteniuk lost round 2 already. So that's tough.
Yeah, it's just so difficult in Blitz sometimes. You just like one move, just one mistake. Um, just like in the last game, um, I almost equalized there in the end. It was down by a pawn, but I think heavy piece end games are notoriously not end games. Heavy piece games with like queens and two rooks are notoriously really complicated just because king safety is always so important. Doesn't matter how many pawns you're up if you're getting mated. Um, that's pretty good counterplay. So kind of heartbreaking. He almost equalized there at the end, and then had this rook sacrifice idea that missed the queen was defending the d8 square.
Yeah, yeah. And players that are lower rated, they can have a really good game. And like you said, just one move mistake at the end can cost you. So, But yeah, these players so far have been pretty young. Like, I know it's tough to play children, right? Because it's like they're always on the up. Once you start to get older, I don't know, something happens.
Fancy
But
camera. Sorry, I just interrupted, but like I'm just a
no,
fancy camera going in there. I was like, there's more, there's more.
she's got a whole camera crew. They're filming some sort of documentary, probably. I don't know. Anyways, yes. And she's also thanking people in the chat still. She's doing it all. She's doing like 5 things.
But I think this is one of the fun parts about playing a Blitz tournament. The time in between the rounds, you can just, chill and hang out or talk to people. For Nemo, she's working. She's in the chat. She's still a streamer, even without even in the middle of a Blitz tournament.
Yes, this is serious work here. Even if the camera's lagging a lot. Okay, is this her new opponent? From Oxford, I see his jacket says. Looks like he's got a drink there, so typically, that's a good sign that that's supposed to be the player competing at the board. So, okay, I see we have a new prediction in the chat. Let's see, do we have round 3 pairings up yet? Yeah, she's playing an international master at 2300, Arthur Calugar.
Be her first game playing up.
Okay.
And she has the white pieces again.
Yeah, this is good round to have. White. Let's see if she... Oh, they already started. So it's a Sicilian, an open Sicilian. Do you play E4, Jen,
Okay.
or are you more of a D4 player?
I'm more of a D4 player, but I've seen my fair share of E4.
Okay. And yeah, she's already castled queenside, so I love it. And H4 as well. Opponent playing H5. She can still go for G4 when the time's right, yeah?
Yes. I think I'm also seeing a bit of a delay here, so I'm just trying to keep up with you.
Well, her opponent has gained some time, so fairly comfortable with this opening setup. I like bishop e2, still main idea, just trying to support this g4 pawn push. And when you have the black pieces and you haven't castled yet, you can castle either which way. Black is already launching with b5, so probably going to castle short side. Are you scared at all of these g4 pawn pushes, these attacks? Or, like, I mean, black, do they even need the castle? Can they just hang out in the center?
Yeah, I think at the moment, black still has the option of hanging on the center because white doesn't have any immediate breaks, but definitely in the next couple of moves, I think that a castle probably needs to happen just because it's difficult to be pushing to make creating your own attack when your own king is at risk. But here, black still has time to either play rook c8, on the c file, or push this pawn, like right now. And e5, e5 is a interesting move because it opens up some of these squares here on d5 and f5. So it's usually a move I'm pretty cautious about, but it looks like the idea against for e5 was just to kind of push white away, not give white this space by allowing knight d4 or white pushing the pawn herself. But knight g3 looks like a great move, just taking the opportunity to attack the weakness that e5 created. So I don't know if I'm a huge fan of e5 because I don't think it was necessary in the position. But it might not be as easy for white to take advantage of it.
I love this. Yeah, Nemo immediately trying to pounce on perhaps a positional mistake from her international master opponent, and now she's launching the f pawn. So f5 is hitting, is trying to undermine black's pawn structure on the king side, And Nemo's definitely posing some serious questions. Where this king is going to end up for the rest of the game is still at question right now. Castle's king side, you said at some point, right? And you can tell Arthur's not comfortable because he's already below 2 minutes. Nemo still has 2.5, and it's still his turn. He's on the clock thinking right now.
Yeah, here, it's pretty hard to decide on a move sometimes because there's so many different things to look at. But now, after this trade, this F file is open, which is definitely something Black has to watch out for. And now might be a good opportunity to trade. Okay, he doesn't trade, he plays rook F8. So I guess his plan was to just keep the king in the center. But definitely needs to watch out about these rooks coming into this F file.
Yeah,
Maybe it would be a good idea to castle to the queen side now. There's been so many different.
Whoa.
Okay, actually, he doesn't do any of this. He does king d7.
The computer hates this move.
Yeah, because bishop takes e7, and then the king is forced to take, and it looks like the queen is coming in. Oh man!
Wow.
And she catches it. Queen g5.
Yeah, the king is cut off from the F file. The G pawn is hanging, and then the H pawn is hanging. Nemo looks like she's in great shape here, about to crush an international master. I don't want to jinx her, but that's what it's shaping out to be right now.
Yes, for sure. Like this was just king d7, queen takes g6, and black's entire position is just gonna fall.
Yeah, and she's got still over 2 minutes on the clock. Opponent now under a minute. This is a demolition.
And so her first game playing up and just absolutely crushing it.
Yeah, second game, it was a really close one. This one, she's blowing him off the board.
Yeah, I just don't see any moves here for black. It feels like everything is just losing some material.
Yeah, the H pawn is the first immediate huge weakness. Rook to F4 is played. I mean, do you just take on H5?
Yeah, knight takes H5.
Knight takes with a tempo. Going for a
Knight
fork. She can take the rook.
I think she could take the rook and just take the pawn. And forget about the rook on d1. You're gonna play rook f7. You're gonna win the queen. Probably win the knight as well. There might even be a mate. There probably is a mate instead of grabbing the queen.
Yeah, Eval is rating this at +10.
Yeah, so I think knight takes a4 is just.
Yeah, knight takes f4 played. Opponent has to choose which rook to take.
Yeah. So it was the king. It was the king in the center. That created all the problems for black. So it was funny that we were talking about which way the king was going, and then it was unpredictable throughout the entire game. And okay.
Oh, now it's forced mate. Love this move. Queen to g4. The king cannot run away. Has to go back into the middle of the board where he started on e8. Knight in on e6, attacking the queen, lining up rook f8. It's just a matter of how she chooses to win this one.
Yeah, she can play queen g6, rook f7, winning the queen again. And this knight is also really active and can support a couple of mating nets. Yeah, right now she's just spending her time to figure out what the best way to win is. I think sometimes that's a really difficult decision to make when you see all these different wins and you're trying to figure out which way you want to go.
Yeah, that's Nemo's toughest part of this round is choosing how to win. There's just too many decisions.
Too many good moves. Rook f8 also looks great. Oh, she plays rook f8.
Yep, king up. Now any knight move is a discovery. Yeah.
Yep, rook f7, really fancy, but
double exclam, brilliant on the board. So yeah, handshake. he couldn't get himself to play another move after this. So just to show the chat why, if queen takes, now we'll have the move knight to g5. That's a discovery. King is in check. The knight's going to scoop up the queen there. Really nice. Honestly, from start to finish, Nemo played a perfect game. Biggest mistake from the international opponent, not castling, and probably this e5 pawn push. You called it out immediately. You knew it was just kind of positionally, a mistake from her opponent, allowing Nemo to just start attacking on the king side.
Yeah. I think this e5 move was a mistake because like she immediately clocked it, grabbed initiative, and after he made a mistake with king d7, it was just game over. So pretty short game where Nemo just caught every opportunity and just finished it really nice. Like this was definitely such a rook f7. What a satisfying move to play on the board. Like that's the kind of move that you dream up in chess.
Yeah, and she didn't even have to take back on d1. Her position was so winning. So that's why they teach you to castle, and I'm sure the international master knows to do that. Sometimes in the blitz tournaments, you just play a little fast or a little loose even. Maybe he was starstruck by chess celebrity, his opponent. I know I would be. I've played Nemo a few times over the board. I've blundered winning positions. I've also just been blown off from the get-go. But yeah, as you called it in the beginning, blitz games, they can go either way. So doesn't matter her opponent's title, international master or not, even if they're 200 elo higher, Nemo has a good shot against pretty much anyone in a blitz game. So round 4, she's undefeated, 3 out of 3. She's perfect so far. Will it continue? Surely she's going to play an even stronger opponent now, right?
Yeah, I'm excited to see who she's going to be paired to next. We might see who's still at 3-3. Who's still perfect? That's the question. Looks like there's not that many. See?
So yeah, Nemo's still tied for first. Results, let's see. So there's only 9 people. I see Mark Plotkin, Petro Golubka, Bator Sambuev, Sai Krishna, Thomas Russell Ruzman, Evgeny Barev, Shakhriyar Mamedyarov, and Ivan Cheparinov. So I only know a handful of them. Either way, Nemo's going to get paired with one of them. I do know Mark Plotkin. He's actually, I think, former classmate, teammate of Nemo at University of Toronto. So good to see him. He's also streamed. Some people know him as Little Plotkin on Twitch. I'm sure you've played against him, right?
Yes. I'm not sure if I played a classical game. I think I might have, but I've definitely played them at some point. And it looks like the lowest opponent, that possible opponent in this group is around 2400. So you definitely have a game against a pretty strong opponent the next round.
Yeah, this next round's going to be her toughest test so far. But if it goes anything like the last round, she's going to blow through it again. Now, she did have the white pieces. Maybe her opponent not so sure with the black pieces. Maybe pushed the wrong pawn or wasn't sure ever when to castle or where to castle. I assume she'll have black now, and that will be a little even tougher for her with the black pieces.
Yeah. Yes. And we should maybe take a look at some other interesting results. I'm curious to see what are the upsets through this tournament, because those are always the fun games to see in Blitz.
Yeah,
You see a lower rated players.
Aryan Tari lost to Timur Calaberta. That's one of the upsets.
And Nemo just did an upset.
Yes. Did you want to look at any of them in particular while we wait?
Yeah, we can look at the Aryan game.
Okay. I have Aryan's game here. So Aryan had the black pieces. It was an Italian. Aryan had black. Okay. Ooh, wow. Aryan played queen d5 thinking he was... Well, I don't know what he was thinking. Knight takes c7. He just had a Botez gambit.
Ah,
Tough.
it happens.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah.
But queen d5, that's tough. But he still played a few more moves, so he still got the spirit.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, even the grandmasters blunder sometimes. Someone's asking about Fun Master Mike. Okay, hold on. It's tough for me to like switch between games. I gotta pull. Also, Nemo's opponent might be there, so we might have to be ready. Maybe we could do some scouting for her next opponents. Like, I would love to see her play against Mark. I think that would be fun.
Hello,
Former
college
teammates.
reunion.
Exactly. I know Toronto, or the University of Toronto's chess club is called Heart House Chess Club.
Mhm.
I think, I mean, obviously Toronto, like, Blue Jays, like the baseball team, right? I don't know the University of Toronto mascot.
I'm curious. I'm sure they have a better mascot than us.
Better man, what's the Harvard mascot?
Oh, so their mascot is the True Blue, which is
Similar, right? You guys
what
are
is
like
that? It's
crimson or something.
what is the True Blue? Oh, it's a beaver. Oh,
Oh,
okay. So I mean, our crimson is just crimson. It's just the color. So um, I knew there were some talks that some people wanted to make the turkey the mascot, which I just personally think that is the most ridiculous idea because I mean, how can you have a turkey mascot and then, at all our games people are just gonna be like gobble gobble or something? I don't know. Just doesn't seem like the most, like the most mascot that creates the most school spirit.
So what would your vote be for a mascot?
I don't know on for this actually because I mean our biggest rivals are Yale and they have the Bulldog,
Yeah.
which is a pretty popular mascot. In my high school, I had a Bulldog, but
Okay.
um I think something like a well, there was some talks about making a cat the mascot because we have like a campus cat that kind of just
Oh,
wanders around. Everybody knows it, but I don't know if it's ever gonna happen.
okay. Yeah. My Twitch username is actually the mascot of my alma mater, UCLA. So I don't know. That's a fun fact. A lot of people think Joe Bruin's my real name, but my real name's actually Joe Lee, and
Hmm.
Bruin's just a nickname from UCLA.
Hmm.
But yeah, the Bulldogs, that's a pretty easy mascot. Um, I guess Harvard's the Crimson, which is like a color, yeah?
Yeah.
Or anyways.
Well, it's like I don't really know to be honest. I think it's just that they have the name of the teams, like our athletic teams, and they also have an actual mascot, which is like John Harvard, I believe. But I think people just say the Crimson because it's kind of hard to say like John Harvard is your mascot.
Okay.
I think it's a little odd.
Yeah, the Harvards.
Yeah.
The Harvard John Harvards. Um, well, if you guys get a cat, that'd be pretty cool. I think that's Mike Klein right there. He's pointing out
Uh,
different squares of the board.
maybe this was something about the last game, but I don't know. Maybe the game before that. But definitely talking about some chess.
I actually saw on Nemo's stream, um, he played her. Mike Klein actually beat her. Um, there was some tactic I can't quite recall, but that would be cool if they got paired up in this tournament and Nemo could try to get some revenge while it's actually, rated. So I know there's some prize money on the line in this tournament. I don't know how many spots there are for prize money, but I think first place is like $3,000 or something.
Pretty nice for a Blitz tournament.
Yeah, not bad. They should have
Oh,
a
first
top
place,
streamer ride. Oh, first is only 1,000. Okay,
1,000. Okay.
my bad. I don't know where the 3,000 came from. Maybe that's the total prize. Does that math check out? I don't know.
Uh, actually, maybe.
It's close. We'll just stick with that, I guess. Also, hello to Hipside. Best dressed prize. Yeah, some of these chess tournaments will have these random prizes. I think like US amateur team does like best costume. I'm sure you've played in one of those before, right?
Yeah, I've played in those years ago when I think I was definitely like a kid back then because it's been a long time. Like I can't remember the last time I played it. But those were always fun, always a good time, and it's fun to see who wins like the best team dress pop. It's a best dressed team, but there's always some people in some fun costumes, and
Yeah,
also the best team name. I remember that
yes.
contest.
Yes. Yeah, best team name is one of them. Best costume. Um, I remember my first time at US Amateur Team West, there was a team of 4 wizards all dressed up in full costume, the hats, the pointy hats and the beards. I was actually pretty jealous. That was pretty good. Our team, we just sent the UCLA team, the college team. But we didn't have that same sort of wizard camaraderie.
Yeah, I think if I was to go again, I'd definitely have everyone wear costumes, maybe onesies.
That'd be huge. That'd be cool. All
Like
right,
what is their yeah.
what's your
It
question?
looks like oh no, it looks like they're paired now and
Yes.
Nemo is playing another IM. So yeah, we got the board pulled up.
All right, and a new prediction. Does Nemo go 4 for 4? She's been perfect so far. Now she's got the black pieces against Sai Krishna. Yeah, I don't know if chat, I guess someone in chat saw. There was a guy taking our picture. So chat better be on their best behavior. See, look, this guy's taking us, everyone smile. Oh, he left.
Oh.
All right, anyways. Hello, Mega. Yeah, Nemo's second round opponent, 1700. Like, if that was a close match, Nemo made her last 2400 rated opponent look like, you know, a 1300. So it'll be interesting to see how she plays against Sai here.
And we have another Roy Lopez.
Yes, Roy Lopez, bishop to e7. No Marshall Gambit. What do you like to
Oh,
play against the Roy?
I play a couple different lines. I think I've tried a couple sidelines here and there, so I really switch it around a lot. So I don't think I have one specific one that I use the most,
Mm-hmm.
but I definitely have a different repertoire than like most traditional players. I try a lot of different things here and there.
Yeah.
But this seems very solid. It just looks like the classic maneuvering into the middle game. And knight f1, knight g3 looks really nice. Attack putting the knight on f5 and then attacking this d6 square. So the c6 move is pretty interesting because it blocks the b7 bishop a lot, but her idea behind it might have been just to, put some more defend the b5 and possibly push d5. But ooh, knight. Okay, so knight g5, rook f8, f4. So he's being pretty aggressive right now. He just wants to break through.
Yeah.
And this is definitely a little scary for white to play because you're just under a ton of pressure. But it doesn't look like there's anything super concrete you need to worry about. Although I'm always a little on edge whenever one side can just push into the center, just because it's really easy to kind of fall behind and just end up really passively defending. So it looks like that's white's intention here with c takes e4 and then probably c5, e5, or maybe d5. Okay, d5 is also good, with e5 as a possible move coming up.
Okay, she plays c4, bishop tucks back, knight into c5 now. Yeah, it's tough. She played rook e8, opponent plays knight g5, immediate pressure on f7. She goes back to f8. This is not typically like what you want to do, but she knew she had to do it, so she didn't spend a lot of time on that. She just immediately went back and kicks the knight away from g5, and only now does the knight come up to g3. Maybe she goes rook back to e8. I know a lot of times the bishop likes to go to f8. Okay, instead knight from f back to d7, and just trying to anticipate maybe an e5 pawn break. Knight lands on f5 now. Now rook e8. Yeah, it's tough.
A lot of repeated moves here and there, but that's a good thing about in a position where you maneuver a lot is that you're not so worried about this tempo of like moving this rook back, just because this is you're just trying to find the best place to put your pieces. So sometimes you just gotta admit that the rook was placed on the wrong square before and just put it back.
Yeah, she finally gets the rook to e8 and the bishop back on f8. But white just is more comfortable, more space here. So how does Nemo like get out of this? Does she have any pawn breaks? Is the bishop just going to be stuck on b7 forever, or does she have to just wait for white to push like e5 at some point?
Yeah, I think what she's doing now is like preparing for moves like g6 to try to push this knight back. Eventually you're gonna want to kind of get white's active pieces back from your position, just because these white pieces are really restricting her movements right now. So I think like g6 is a good start to get this annoying knight on f5 out, and then later on you can possibly try to trade off some of these pieces and get a little more space to make it easier to move around. But g6 looks pretty great because you even have the option to put the bishop on g7 later and try to use this diagonal.
Okay, so we see a trade, and it looks like her opponent's actually spent a ton of time and picks up this pawn actually on b5. So, but now yes, this knight moves without her even having to play g6. So she maintains a solid pawn structure in front of her king, and her opponent's starting to make some receding moves here.
Yeah, so knight c3, actually looks a little bit like a mistake because here you have knight d3, which she plays knight d3, and it looks like she can grab the initiative. She's just grabbed initiative here, and there's a lot of tactics, but the problem is you can't really take this knight on d3 because this knight on d4 is falling, and then you're gonna lose a piece. So I think you're kind of forced to lose the exchange here with bishop e3, and now she just is up with solid material. So she worked her magic again. I think we might possibly be seeing another turnaround, and just
Oh,
are we leading back to another perfect score?
well, there's still plenty of chess left to be played, but everything's in her favor right now. Her opponent messed up, missed the knight d3 move. Nemo pounces on it, wins an exchange. She grabs on b2. King goes to h2. And yeah, she's just up time. her bishop's still pretty bad in the corner, so it's not like she's in the clear just yet. She brings her knight or queen back, and eval bar swinging. It doesn't like these last two queen moves from her, but she's still the favorite.
Ooh, queen a1. So okay, it looks like it looks like she had a chance there to take on d5 because of the bishop on e3 was pinned, but they're moving quite fast right now. Bishop b7, knight c6. There's definitely a lot of tricks going on in this position because she is up by an exchange, but now that with this pawn on c6, oh, okay, the eval bar is just swinging all over the place.
Can she just take on sack the rook and take on c3?
Yeah, and then the bishops are just attacked. So I think before, instead of that, you probably should have played maybe knight d5, and then keep the pawn on c6 defended.
You know, I know Nemo's not the biggest fan of playing classical. She's definitely more of an online player, and you can tell she's probably pretty happy to beat up on, you know, international master 2400 rated players in Blitz. And yeah, she goes for it. She sacks. Ooh, the computer maybe didn't like. I liked taking on e3 because, you know, you're closer to the king. There's more pawns hanging, but this pawn is really close to promoting. It's very scary.
Yeah, so here it might be that you might want to just take the opportunity to do this perpetual just because otherwise it looks like this pawn is promoting.
That's tough.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure how you can stop this, so yeah, it looks like she's gonna go for the perpetual.
Oh man, so we got to go back after this game and see what exactly was missed, but she's got less than 10 seconds. It's tough to play on with no time. Okay, maybe the clocks are wrong, but she's going to go for this perpetual because no time and can't find anything else. So what was needed there instead of queen takes on e3? I guess, should you have taken maybe on c2 instead?
I think it might have been possible, but I think taking on c6 was the cleanest just so you get rid of this pawn threat. You just remove it completely, but oh wait, what is happening?
Opponent sacked the bishop to play for the win. Nemo had to take on d1 with a check. Did she just flag? Oh no. Oh, that's so disappointing.
Is it a flag? I can't.
I can't see the DGT board can't tell us the result, but the clock looks like it ran out, and they were pointing at it as well. So, wow, what a bold choice from the opponent to block on d1 with the bishop, and that forces her to take. And then she's no longer on the dark square diagonal. We have maybe an official checking out what happened. She might be trying to claim threefold or something. This is tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it was a threefold, but I'm not sure if it was a threefold, but it might be.
I mean, we could look at ourselves, right? So let's see.
Yeah, the funny thing is, even here, down by a queen, it's still 0-0, just because the white king is so open, and these pieces are like the black minor pieces are defending the black king.
I think it did repeat 3 times, but I think she has to like pause the clock and claim it. I'm not sure. Do you know?
Yeah, it might. Yeah, I believe like in even in Blitz and threefold, you have to pause the clock and ask the arbiter to come over.
Yeah, so just to show the chat, this is the first time we see the queen and king in this check. This is the second time, and right here's the third time. But the problem is the players played on. So if I'm not mistaken, she has to claim the threefold. She can't claim it, I guess, after the fact, unfortunately. So.
Oh, I think it was just because she was low on time. so it was tough to call the
Yeah,
arbiter over. But
and that's
yeah, that's when you
exactly what
just
she's saying in the chat. So that is very unfortunate. Let's take a look at what was better for her instead of going. The computer says that this maybe wasn't the best decision. So right here, Queen A6, double question mark. Apparently, she needs to take on C6 first. That's really smart.
but this is a tough result because she was pushing for a while. She saw this knight d3 move, took the exchange, and um yeah, it was just this rook c6 move here that would have um took away black's counterplay. I'm curious, instead of queen a6, is the move in the position just knight d5?
Knight d5 is right now coming up as the second best. The top
Mm-hmm.
recommendation is bishop to d4.
Bishop. Oh, and then bishop d4 is actually a really beautiful move, because then you just, if rook takes c6, bishop takes f6, knight d5, and that knight is just so strong.
Yeah.
But this is definitely a really complicated game because of this material imbalance. And that always makes it really tricky, especially in Blitz.
Yeah, opponent goes for this infiltration with the queen instead. Gets the double question mark because Nemo can sack the rook to take this deep pass pawn. This pawn was the source of all the problems, right? So she had her mind in the right place of giving up the rook and going for the minor pieces. The problem is she left the pawn stay on the board, and even though she had a perpetual here, she didn't call it with the arbiter during the game. We saw the opponent ultimately sacrifice their bishop to avoid another perpetual, and now with the pawn remaining on the board, the queen simply leaves, and this threat of promotion is really good for white. So computer says this is still a draw, but unfortunately she ran out of time.
Yeah, and it is kind of scary sometimes to claim that perpetual when you're not sure, especially if you're playing Blitz and it's fast, because if you claim Ron, you do get a penalty for it. I believe the first penalty is a time penalty, where your opponent gets an extra minute or two, but the second penalty will be a forfeit. So it's definitely if you're not sure in those split-second moments, sometimes that's a scary decision to make. But also, when you're down by that much time and your opponent gets 2 minutes, that also is pretty much very hard to come back from. So that is the challenge in Blitz.
Yeah, it's tough, but at the end of the day, she's still 3 out of 4. She's been crushing international masters back to back. Like, I still think she's doing great. Didn't get the result that she wanted here, but I think she's definitely proving she can hang with the best of them with her gameplay. So, yeah, strong game so far. Her only loss just now, and it's off of a flag. Definitely could have ended in a draw, but as you said, it's tough to call for an arbiter when you don't know necessarily. Online, it counts for you, and it automatically will draw it. In real life, you have to have an arbiter. You have to keep track of these things yourself. And as you said, if you mess it up, you're going to get penalized, and that is a really big risk. So, yeah, unfortunate, but still, we're like basically at the halfway point, right, of this tournament. She's 3 out of 4. There's 5 games left. She definitely still has chance to end out on top and get some prize money.
Yeah, no, definitely a really strong start to the tournament, and with 5 games left, like that could be a whole nother tournament by itself.
Yeah, strong first
So
half. She's just 1 game shy of perfection, which is tough. I mean, we saw all the other players that were 3 out of 3. Maybe we could take a look at results of the other players. Who's still at 4 out of 4? Looks like only 7 players. And it looks like Shakri or Mabijara, he ends up with a draw. So Nemo actually might play him.
Yeah, it looks like how
Or
many people in the standings? We have 1, 2, 3. No, wait, only 7 people with a perfect 4 points.
she
And oh
actually
yeah,
she might play Aryan
yeah, I think she's gonna be playing someone in
with
this
3.
group.
Yeah, it's showing 3 players with 3 points. Aryan Tari, Pavel, Tregubov, and herself. So odds are she'll probably play one of them. I don't know if this is the full standings on chess. Like it's showing no one with 2 points.
Yeah, I think there's because some of the other games are on DGT, they're not showing up in there.
Got
But
it. That makes sense. Grumpy the Penguin saying Aryan would be an unfortunate matchup. I think that'd be a pretty cool matchup, right? Like we saw him blunder a queen. You know, people know who Aryan is. I think that'd be pretty fun to see.
yeah, no, I think it's always fun to play, um, to play someone tough too or someone well known. Like it's always a good opportunity. Like I love playing that personally, just because I think it's always a fun challenge. Um, so I think that'd be really exciting to see, especially since Nemo has upset someone and almost upset another game. So it looks like she's on a good streak, and hopefully she'll bounce back from this loss. It was really unfortunate. It was just time, but that's the tough thing about Blitz. You just, that 1 second at the end.
Yeah, Nemo's actually in the chat saying, luckily in Blitz, she gets to go again pretty quickly. So she seems like she's already over it. Whereas if it was a classical game, you've got, a couple hours, if not a whole day before the next round. You just have to kind of sit there and relish in your loss. So she's over it, on to the next one. Can't dwell in the past. And yeah, still lots of chess left. 5 whole rounds, over half the tournament, and she's still doing fairly well. I mean, she's tied with Tari. She might beat Tari, actually.
Yeah, I think that's a great mindset to have. I actually just experienced this in my last tournament because playing a Blitz playoff, and I flagged in like even positions and like winning positions, and then more than one time, and then I had to play the next game immediately because it was the playoff. So it worked out pretty well, just because at that point I was just so done. I was like, it's over. You might as well just put it all in the next game. Doesn't matter anymore. And I think it's a great mindset to have because, whatever happens, you just have to keep that fighting spirit, keep it going.
Even within a game, right? You've blundered and still fought back. Like, correct me if I'm wrong or misremembering, but didn't you blunder a piece against like Irina Crush and you still beat her?
Yeah, I blundered the same bishop twice in the same tournament. I blundered it one time in classical because it was like her second game where I thought I saw something that didn't work and just hung a bishop. And then but in the playoff I also blundered a bishop on like move 8, but ended up somehow that Armageddon game turned around. Don't understand how, but you always have to be hopeful. Oh, she's sending hearts to the chat.
Yeah, we got
Everybody send hearts back.
some chatters
This is so
redeeming.
cute.
She's still streaming, man. She's competing, she's battling over the board, and she's redeeming these channel point redemptions.
All the love in the chat. This is awesome.
All right, next opponent here, round 5, and she's back with the white pieces, which is always a slight advantage that we'll take.
So she's playing another IM. Wow, so she's played quite a few IMs this tournament. Um, he's rated around 2272, so just a little bit over her, but she's proved in the last 2 games that she's had no problem playing against these IMs, so I can't wait to see what happens this game.
Yeah, ain't no thing. Uh-oh, someone's redeeming a change board. I don't know if we can fulfill that. I don't we might have to I mean, I don't know. Should I do it, or it's probably too much? Maybe a mod can refund it. IRL scam. Yeah, we're gonna stick with the
Are
DGT board.
refunds are point refunds possible? I didn't know this.
Yeah. The mods can do it. But okay, so back to her E4 ways. We have another Sicilian. This time her opponent castles quickly though, so maybe they saw the first match against the IM. But yeah, how do you feel about the position so far? It's still pretty even, still early on.
Yeah, this seems pretty even, pretty playable. I wonder if this might be the time for Black to either open up the center with playing D5 or taking on D4, and then pushing E5 pawn. But I think that's the decision he has to make right now, which is probably why he's taking some time to figure out in what direction he wants the game to go. Whether he wants to have a isolated pawn on D5 or play positionally. Oh, so he goes A6, which makes a lot of sense. You just want to prevent these knight B5 ideas, and D5 is still possible here. But you have to watch out for possible bishop F4 ideas at some point, but it seems like it's not a big deal right now.
Yeah, knight E5 played.
Yeah, knight E5. I really like this move. You have a bunch of different ideas here. You might want to play knight C4 just to get this bishop pair. Or you can keep the knight on E5 for a little bit. Maybe we go knight G4 at some point, but there's a lot of different opportunities here.
Yeah, here I feel like the move F4 is just begging to be played, and she's gone for it. So knight C4 you called out, and Nemo's just going to be ready to take that and give up the bishop pair.
Yeah, so seems like a pretty playable position for both sides after knight C4. There will be like a little bit of an imbalance again. Black has the bishop pair, but white has the center and the space. But as long as she can like hold this position together, because knight G4 here, there might be some pressure on this diagonal later if Black can take this bishop. Knight E4, so I think our idea here is to kind of control this D6 and C5 square, prevent this bishop from going to C5. But now it might be a good opportunity for Black to develop the C8 bishop, like B5, something like this. You want to get this bishop out because this bishop has no future on the other diagonal. Maybe play something like F6 also to break open this F pawn, but there's no hurry to take this bishop on E3 yet. It's not really going anywhere. But the position has definitely changed in character over the last few moves. So
B5.
He plays B5, yeah.
Just as you were predicting. I mean, this was Black's worst piece, so you definitely need to develop it at some point. Nemo is ahead in development. Like, rooks are already connected. She's also up a lot of time as well. Her time management's been pretty good throughout this entire tournament so far. And yeah, Nemo just kicks the queen out. Queen goes all the way back to C7 pretty quickly. And yeah, how does Nemo continue her attack on the king side?
Yeah, the dream would be eventually if you could put knight F6. I think that's everybody's dream, but that's definitely a long way in the future because you got this bishop on E7 that's protecting it, but there might be possible ideas of playing F5 at some point. It's just that right now this position isn't ready for it, but maybe you want to play rook f3, something like this to get more pieces in and prepare for these ideas. So she plays h3, which forces him to take on e3 now, and develops on b7, which is all stuff we mentioned before. This all makes a lot of sense. And rook d1. Okay, so she doesn't worry about this pawn on a3.
Yeah.
And he grabs it.
Opponent takes that one pretty quickly. Nemo maybe just doesn't care. She's distracting the bishop from e7, and now she's hopping in with the knights, putting more pressure onto this king. h6, immediate question. Knight back to f3. And you mentioned this f5 pawn break at some point. Maybe the knight's going to come to h4 now.
Yeah, it's possible. So she is down by a pawn, but she's really trying to create this counterplay here. It's just these bishops are pretty active right now, so they might stop a lot of eventual threats, especially this dark square bishop. You really want to watch out for these bishop c5 ideas, because they're always possible. Like, and they're going to restrict this knight and this queen. Like e6, this idea. You possibly should like take on f7 and try to get this e6 square, but bishop c5 here was a great move just to stop this idea and trap this knight on d4. Not trapped, and prevent this knight on d4 from moving.
Just pinning it.
But yeah, just pinning.
And black can always take on f3 if they need to, and that just removes one of the defenders. We see, yeah, both rooks and the queen all near the king now, completely on the e-file. Both players less than a minute, so we're getting down to a time scramble, and it's just the bishop pair is really strong here.
Yeah, this honestly really good play by her opponent. He didn't really give her a break ever since he got his bishops out, and now he's just making it really difficult for her to move around. He's put his rook on e3. A lot of different threats, and this bishop on b7 just a few moves ago was on c8, didn't have a little future. It was so constricted, and now it's an absolute monster. Just putting a lot of pressure on these knights, and it's hard for white to have moves here. I think you can take on f3 and take on d3 as well, and take on f3. You have to take back the pawn, and this knight on d4 is just so weak.
Yeah, it's dropping.
Yeah, it's just dropping.
And the pawn structure is really bad as well. This is just a really good game from her opponent, unfortunately. And yeah, the game's over. So Nemo tried. She went for maybe a pawn sacrifice, trying to push and start an attack. And unfortunately, the bishops were just too strong for her opponents, especially with the bishop coming back to c5. Really strong diagonals. Yeah, just outplaying the knights there.
Yeah, it was a really tough game, but honestly, really well played by her opponent. I think it's hard to say where the mistake was. Maybe she shouldn't have let him take the pawn on a3. It seemed like there wasn't enough counterplay for white to play on the queen side, play on the king side, but black played really accurately.
Yeah, computer's calling for b4 here, just preventing the bishop from getting to c5. So at this point, she's going for it. She's full sending, essentially. And the bishop comes back to c5. Very timely here for opponents. So, yeah, her ideas essentially were kind of stopped because of the bishop's pins. Lots of material here on this diagonal. And when her knights can't mobilize, then she can't get her attack going. So, yeah, well played.
Yeah. Interesting game, but the way that these bishops took apart these knights is really instructive to see. You know, that knight connection is not as strong as it looks. You know, once you pin one of them, and then you take away the other one, this d4 knight just has no more defenders left.
Yeah, yeah. So it shows the power of the bishop pair. Very strong pieces here. You got a gifted sub to Ariantari.
Oh, I did?
I think so.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Crystal, for giving this up.
People asking if if we saw the eclipse. I didn't see it. It didn't really pass over me. Was it cloudy where you were today?
No, this was the first sunny day in a while, so it was beautiful. And I got out of my class and I walked out, and there was like a giant mob of tourists and like students just standing there, just looking at the sky. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna join them.
Oh
So,
yes.
so that wasn't my plan, but I was like, why not? I'm already there. Um, so
Yeah.
that was really fun, honestly. I ran into a lot of people. It was just I saw a lot of people were having little picnics and other things. So I think it was great just a great opportunity to go out and enjoy the fresh air because I don't know. I feel like once the sun comes out, your entire mood just shifts, and it's crazy what the weather can do for your mood.
Yeah, usually where were you before Boston?
Used to be in the DC area.
Okay. And is the
Yeah,
weather like worse in Boston normally or
I will say that the winters are definitely colder, although they are pretty similar. It's just that we're a lot more up north,
yeah, yeah.
so we definitely get like bigger snow. Um, but I think in the recent years it hasn't been as bad just because probably global warming or something. But the weather has been kind of funky recently.
Mm. Yeah, it's like typically a bit crazier, more unpredictable. But I see Maria saying that it was pretty cloudy in Toronto, so probably Nemo
Mhm.
didn't have a great chance to really soak it in. Um, but yeah, weather out here in LA is pretty sunny for the most part. It rains a little bit in the winter sometimes, but that's an LA winter. It rains like a handful of times, but that's pretty much it. Um, but yeah, I haven't seen a total eclipse yet. I've lived through maybe like three, but it's just they've dodged me, or maybe I've dodged them. Not
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I wonder when did people say the next one was? Because I've heard different years. I've heard like 7, and I've heard like 20, and I've heard
Yeah.
30. So, but it sounds like it's in a while. It's in a fat minute, but
Yeah, the one I heard was 21 years, so we'll see.
21 years.
Oh, John's saying it's
Um,
gonna be in Spain next time.
ooh.
Joshua's saying they happen every 18 months. That's probably not true.
Maybe those are different kind of eclipses, but um yeah, but I knew a lot of people who drove up to Vermont or New Hampshire today to try to be in the path of totality.
Oh, apparently 18 months is true for total solar eclipses. I don't know what to believe anymore.
Someone says Nemo will fly us all to Spain for it. I mean, I'm hoping. I'll take a trip to Spain if the next one occurs there.
All right. Looks like Nemo's got a drink. This is what I like to commentate on between the rounds is okay, what's she sipping on? Do we think it's
This is the
water?
important analysis.
This is the only analysis that I can truly give what she's sipping on. So some speculate water, maybe tea, maybe coffee.
Yeah, I'm on the coffee wave just because she's sipping it, and oh, we got a little glimpse. I think it was coffee. Not to not to hype myself up, but it might be that.
John's saying that he's gonna put on his calendar that he's shipping all of us to Spain. So flights secured.
Awesome.
We
I'll take some
gotta
time off.
we gotta stay in touch for the next 20 plus years. Maybe Jennifer will be in the candidates by then, and they'll fly her out to Spain anyways. Someone's saying that Nemo hates coffee and that they're guessing it's tea.
Interesting.
Someone's guessing it's Jen.
It's a bit.
It's not the
Maybe
first
that's
time
for.
I've seen a Grandmaster play Blitz drunk or under the influence. I feel like that's a common thing, right? People do that.
Well, I feel like for Blitz, people like to have fun, so they tend to be a lot more loose.
Yeah, someone's questioning whether or not she dislikes coffee. She's definitely had some iced coffees before. Someone's saying that she should be allowed to trash talk. I know this is like a FIDE Blitz tournament, so probably there's not a lot of trash talking, but how do you feel about your Blitz odds when your opponents are trash talking you, or do you trash talk back?
Well, I think we talked about it before. The hate fuels you. So if you if you just gotta take the trash talk, either return it or you just listen to it and let it sink in. Use it as motivation. So every time they try to trash talk you, they don't know it, but they're just making you better.
True. Okay, so the trash talk motivates you. Also, shout out to Luis for the 4 gifted subs. Really appreciate that. I think we're gonna take a quick break for the next round. So we're just gonna stare at the Nemo coffee cam. How's that sound? All right, stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back, everyone. Players are off, handshake, moves on the board. We're back. And yeah, she's playing a lower rated player. So she had unfortunate back to back losses against two international masters. And now we're in round 6. So she's 3 out of 5, looking to bounce back here.
Yeah, 305. It looks like this pretty even from the opening. I can't talk much about this opening. I know a bit about the Queen's Indian, but this looks pretty solid to play. Honestly, a lot of positional chess today. And I think here white should probably aim towards a pawn break like this in the center and try to get as much utilize this space advantage, which is a common theme in these kind of openings.
Yeah, knight takes, queen takes in the center. She has to bring her bishop back to defend the c pawn, and she's probably going to play the knight to f6, I assume, or maybe go for c5 at some point, maybe rook c8.
Yeah, I think rook c5 makes a lot of sense here. You just want to open up this diagonal for the bishop as soon as possible. Like I'm always worried that this bishop might just end up, maybe there's a c5 at some point that might shut it in, but she plays c5 and gets this opportunity. And now white has to figure out what to do with the d pawn. So d5 is a really interesting move here, sacking the pawn. I wonder what the plan is after if she just takes it.
Yeah.
And so his idea was to play knight e5 and pin this pawn to the bishop. But I'm a little concerned here after queen c7. How do you, or queen c8 as well? Like it looks like this pawn is just free to move, and I'm not sure how white plans on getting the compensation for the pawn.
Yeah, that's a fun pawn to grab a hold of. And she goes queen c8. Now, it's a little questionable why not go to like c7, and we see maybe why. Bishop to f4. Nemo was already aware of that. And now she's pushing, looking to trade light square bishops. Do you like pushing to d4 better than like taking on c4? I feel like this pawn chain's really nice to have, connect 4.
Yeah, I think she wanted to have this pass pawn. It's a protected pass pawn. That's always nice to have. And also, you have a lot of opportunities now to to build up behind on this d file because it's not open. So you can kind of just put your rooks behind it, eventually aim for a push, and it's really easy to maneuver here. So knight d3 makes a lot of sense. You always hear that you should put a knight in front of a protected pass pawn or any pass pawn in general, just because knights can jump over any pieces. They have the most reach if they're behind a pawn, unlike other pieces that will be blocked. So knight d3 is a great move to try to prevent any possible pushes in the future.
Yeah, so knight goes back. She brings a second rook to e8. Someone's asking chat if she's a woman grandmaster. Yeah, chess.com shows FIDE master, but she has both titles. And I feel like it's similar for you, right, Jennifer? Like you're a woman grandmaster. You're also a FIDE master. I don't know if it really matters like which title they show, right?
Yeah, I don't I didn't really have a preference for a while, but I think mine also showed FM unless it got updated. I'm not sure. I think it's just when you're too lazy to update it, it just shows up as your old title.
Yeah. So I can ask if we can update it for her later. But, okay, bishop d6. She looks to trade down. The rooks are in tension right now. She trades. Queen's gonna take back, and then she's gonna play rook takes d6. And when you're up material, you just want to trade down.
Yep, rook e6 is a great move. Shutting down everything on this e file, and she can trade the rooks now and get the queen in. And this is just such a solid pawn to have. There's an extra d4 pawn, beautiful pawn. Eventually, you're gonna want to find a way to kick this knight out on d3, but there's no rush on that now.
Knight
Oh,
d5,
so
stepping into a pin.
yeah, so this is definitely a really bold move to play, knight e5 and f4. This just honestly seems like a way to try to create as much counterplay as possible. But I think if black has enough time, she can just maneuver her pieces to attack this knight on e5 because, it just can't move. If she can get f6 in, like knight d7 right now, preparing f6, it's a really dangerous threat. So he is definitely going to want to try to get out of this by maybe putting this queen on e4 to try to go a8. So he goes queen f3 with the same idea.
Can she just
But I
play
wonder,
f6?
yeah, I think he might just be able to play f6 anyways.
Oh, she
Well,
takes.
she takes e5, but this should also be okay. Just because, now if you create space here of g6 or h6,
Yes.
yep, you're threatening to take e5 next move. And if he defends with like queen d5, the pieces are kind of stuck on this to protecting this e5 pawn, so you have opportunities to try to expand in other ways and maybe play f6 at some point if the
Yeah.
king is off this diagonal.
I think we might be missing some moves, but opponent's clock is pretty low. According to chess.com, it's at 0, but okay, I see moves still coming in.
Oh, yeah, she already played. She already moved the king up. There was queen d5, she moved the king up, and I think now she's trying to decide how to continue, but I wonder if you move the king again to h7, maybe you can just play f6.
Yeah, f6.
But I guess king h7, rook f1's an idea.
Yeah, king h7. You want to play f6 and undermine this pawn that's pinned, but you don't want to give it up with a check, right? So moving the king makes a lot of sense, and the board has decided to pause again. Now the moves are flooding in. Okay, trade of queens. And essentially, Nemo's just forever up a pawn, right? So she can just walk her king in. She's letting the opponent's king get in, actually.
4, yeah. King d5. This is definitely interesting because I don't know if I like letting the white king in all the way. But she's still up a solid pawn. I think if she moves the king away, play rook d7 check, I think the rook belongs on the c file. But what happened here? There's an f6 played.
Shake hands. Okay, so f6 was played.
Okay, so this is just
yeah.
Oh, she played rook e6 and then a5. A5 missed this. Just f6 just finished it.
So this was a tale of opponent giving up a pawn early on, and Nemo held on to that pawn and traded everything down, ultimately getting that pawn passed, and that's going to be a new queen. So game ended there. She's back in the win column. She is, what, 4 out of 6?
Yep, 4 out of 6. She's back up there. After a couple of tough games against IMs. I wonder if she's going to be back to playing the IMs now, but
Probably.
We are back on track. This is a great game.
Yes, 3 rounds to go. So lots of opportunities for her to get back up towards the top. She was tied for first for many rounds. Can I do a quick game review for anyone that missed it? Also, yeah, the board was a little slow at times, unfortunately. But Nemo has the black pieces here. This is Queen's Indian defense, and it's more or less even, right? And now here she's able to break through with c5. This is the biggest moment of the entire game. Opponent plays d5. This is getting a question mark. It is a pawn gambit or sacrifice, however you want to call it. Nemo just scoops it up. Opponent tries to pin it, but after the bishop gets defended, Nemo can now push the pawn, trade off the bishops, and this passed d pawn is what ended up winning her the game. So yeah, opponent gave her a pawn and Nemo just held on. So yeah, this is where it's interesting, right? There's this pin. She trades the knight here. I was thinking just f6 makes a lot of sense. Or making a flight square. The whole idea of queen to f3 is to threaten the back rank mate, right?
Yep.
And this is where the board kind of froze. We did see king h7. And it got a little strange when she let the king into d5, right?
I think yeah, it might have been possible to just play f6 at that point. Well, I guess f6 king f4 is a concern, but you can just move the king, I believe, on the black king as well. But also, honestly, after king d7, king d5, it is a little strange that the white king got in so far. But the problem is there's just a passed pawn on d4 that is going to create problems no matter what. So it's pretty easy for black to recover here, and f6 just a5 was a mistake because after f6, you're forced to trade off the rooks, and then you just have this passed pawn again that's gonna decide this game.
Yeah, f6 finally hits and taking advantage of the pin on the e-file, and that allowed Nemo to trade, and this pawn is a goner. So yeah, solid game there from Nemo. And Nemo saying it was the coffee buff. Apparently we have confirmation it's straight black coffee.
Okay. I mean, I should have known that coffee was an option because I just grabbed coffee with her a couple days ago. So
How do you like your coffee?
I'm a big latte person, and I really like milk in my coffee. But I've been more of a tea girl recently.
Okay.
I always get into phases where I get tea and then I only get coffee and then go back to tea.
Yeah, I'm more of a tea drinker personally. Not much of a coffee fan myself, but I see John's asking the difference between f6 and f5. So at some point, yeah, the computer was recommending both of them. I think f6 is maybe a little bit more accurate because if you push f5, your opponent has the option to not take en passant, contrary to many Redditors' beliefs. But if you play f6, the pawn's not going anywhere, and you always have the option of trading. But okay, we actually see maybe her next opponent here. So yeah, going into round 7. Let's see who the pairing is. It's not updating yet. Maybe this is just a fan talking to her.
I mean, it seems like a very intense conversation.
Yeah, too bad we don't have the mics. We just kind of have to. I could lip read maybe, or we could just pretend to be. I'll be him and you can be her. Okay, he already left. She laughed though, so that's good. He probably had a funny joke to tell her. Someone's saying it might be a ref.
Might be arbiter.
Yeah, this tournament has like quite a few arbiters. There's like a chief arbiter. There's a chief deputy arbiter, and then they got like a handful of other arbiters. How many rounds? This is a 9-round Swiss. So she just finished round 6. She's won 4 out of 6 games, and we're about to begin round 7 at any moment. Also, I mentioned Plotkin playing Little Plotkin as his Twitch username, Mark. He's known as Little Plotkin because there's a bigger Plotkin, his dad, Victor Plotkin, who's also playing in this tournament. So that's pretty fun.
I think no, I think chess families are always so fun. I don't know if you have any siblings that play chess, but I think that's such an interesting experience just growing up with someone you can just train with that lives in your own house. I mean, I personally have two siblings who both don't really play chess. My sister, she got to 1,000 and she decided that was like the goal and never played chess again. So, I never really had the experience. What about you?
I have two brothers and neither of them play. So I'm the only one in my family. Like my parents also don't play. So yeah, sometimes like watching, Anna Cramling playing and like her mom commentating, or like I know the Botes sisters obviously play each other a ton, and like I've seen their dad on stream a lot of times. Botes' dad's actually an arbiter, and I've seen him in action as well. So no, it's always fun to see the chess families, and definitely like have times where I'm like, oh, that must be so fun, uh, just to like have someone close to you like to play with, or to even just talk about it, or go and support you, um, playing in tournaments, stuff like that. So yeah, did your parents teach you chess? I'm assuming.
Oh no, I just club at school, so I learned it at an after school program. But I only learned how to play chess because I wanted to teach my parents. Because I wanted to one up them when I was a kid, but they learned by themselves, which was really sad because that was my motivation to learn how to play chess.
Okay, well that's cool. Um, yeah, Nemo, I'm sure her parents got her. She started when she was like 2.
Yeah, sorry, so young.
Yeah, someone can
It's
correct
a
me if I'm wrong,
lifestyle.
but yeah, I started when I was halfway through high school. I was 16. I just like switched schools and was looking for like a club to join to like make friends, and I was like, chess seems fun. So, late start for me, but one of the best decisions of my life because now I get to hang out with all the chess people, and commentate games and talk to cool people like Jennifer Yu, and all the cool people in chat.
60 is not too late. I mean, I feel like there's always time to get into chess, no matter what age. Like it was great. The pandemic a few years ago, where so many people, like I feel like everybody I knew got into chess. Um, and it was really fun to see. But yeah, I think 60 is like you see a lot of the young prodigies. They start so young and early. So I'm curious what the what the oldest person who got into chess was that became a grandmaster.
Yeah, that's a good question. I am not sure. Um, I know people like to point out Ben Feingold when they say like older players getting the GM title. I forgot how old he was when he got to GM, but he'd started as a kid. I'm pretty sure like he was
Mhm.
young when he got other titles. Um, Hello to Josh. Good to see you. I'm looking at the standings. No one is a perfect 6 out of 6. We have 3 players that have 1 draw. That's Evgeny Boreev, Shukriar Mabajarov, and Ivan Sheparinov. And then a couple players with 5 out of 6, a couple players with 4.5. And then there's Nemo, tied for 10th place. So she's looking to break top 10. Um, Probably she'll play either the player with 4 points, or she'll play the player with 3.5.
Yeah, I think the person with 4 points might be playing up, so
Yeah.
there's a chance you might be playing them. But also, as the tournament goes on, a lot of these players have already played each other, so that's definitely gonna throw in some wonky pairings later on because you're gonna have a lot of people who can't play again. Um,
Yeah, that makes sense. But only 3 rounds left. I think she will play down. And what's funny about playing down is that she's only playing down by score. She has 4 points. Her opponent would have 3.5. But that player with 3.5 is an international master again with 2350 rating. So, yeah, lots of IMs that she has to play against today, but she's already beaten one of them. An unfortunate flag against the second one, and then she got beat by the third one. So now she's off to International Master number 4, I'm assuming. I actually haven't looked at the exact pairing yet. But her opponent is
Oh,
there.
no, she's played. No, she's not.
Oh,
No.
she's playing against Christopher Knox.
Yeah, and they're around the same rating. 2200.
And the game has
so we
started.
got some games. So this time it's a D4 game. We haven't gotten any D4 games, have we? Other than we got the
last round.
the Queen's Indian.
Yeah.
Yeah, other than the last round, but was she black twice?
Yeah, she swapped sides, I think anticipating white, but for whatever reason, she gets black another time in a row. And honestly, the Swiss, it's 9 rounds, right? So an odd number of rounds, you're either going to have white an extra time or black an extra time. She could also end the tournament with 2 whites in a row. We're not sure. But yeah, she's getting black for the second time in a row here.
Mm-hmm. And this time we get an earlier c5, c5, just like last time, hitting the center. But this time her opponent isn't going to do any. Doesn't look like he's going to do a pawn sack. So, he's just building up the center here and then getting the pieces out. I think taking on d4 makes sense at some point just to close off this diagonal, because from this b2 bishop, so it doesn't take on c5 at some point. But there's also no rush in doing that. Knight b4 makes sense. You want to hit this bishop. And yeah. I wonder if her idea is knight e4, because I think that's a logical follow-up. You wanna block this diagonal off and get your pieces out. But the concern might be that there might be some tactics here with pawn takes e5, knight takes e4. Okay, so she doesn't do that, and he gets knight e5 in.
Yeah, she brings the rook to the c file, knight to e5. Her opponent's over 2200, so he's not titled, but he's still strong. Nemo, and a thought here, he's up on time too, but he started with the white pieces, and that's kind of one of the downsides when you get black. She goes for knight e4 now. Is there any major difference between doing a move earlier?
I think something would have been that, like, if she had done it earlier, this pawn on e4, if knight takes e4, this pawn takes e4 would have hit this knight on f3, which is like a tempo. Because now if knight e5, there is a chance that you can take and maybe take on c5 right away and attack this c5 square. But I don't think there's too much of a difference other than that. Maybe you can just take on c5 right now, because if the pawn takes back, and you take back on e4, there's an isolated pawn on c5, and then if you take on c5 and the pawn doesn't take back, then this d5 pawn is isolated.
Yeah, so that's what our opponent's thinking about here right now. Taking the pawn, taking the knight, lots of captures to be considered, and not going for any of those. Instead, kicking this knight away with a3 first.
Yeah, so after knight c6 makes sense. Knight c6 with knight c6 also possible. I think the concern after knight c6 is that it loosens this e4 square, so there might be a knight takes e4 tactic here, and it's kind of concerning that this e4 pawn might fall. But so knight e6 seems a lot safer, and I wonder what her opponent's idea is after this. So he takes the pawn now, and plays queen e2. So he wants to attack this a6 knight and get the queen out the way. Probably play rook d1. But f6 a great move, kicking the knight out.
Yeah, f6. A lot of players would be shy about making a move like this because of the wisdom from Ben Feingold. And now queen here. If the king moved, was there knight f7? I don't know. We have the knight traded off. Yeah, computer didn't like the check, but it also didn't like bishop to d5. Maybe she should have blocked with the queen.
Yeah, I think queen, because after bishop d5, now there's just queen takes a6, and then you grab this pawn on e5, and you can't really take this pawn on b3 because then this pawn on e4 is gonna fall. So this was a good opportunity that her opponent grabbed, but yeah, it looks like queen c4 was a scary move, but queen d5 is the right way to defend. Wow,
Yeah.
now her opponent even has the opportunity to take e4 anyways, because taking on e4 you have this queen c4 check.
Oh wow. Okay, so that was missed. Um, yeah, this is a tough position, and Nemo's under a minute, so it's basically a bullet game at this point. Yeah, she needed a block with the queen. I myself am not a fan of queen trades. I like to attack, and the queen's the most powerful attacking piece. But when she blocks with the bishop, that allows for the queen to take a knight and win a pawn. So right now, she's down in material, and she's down on time. Can she dig herself out of this?
So rook d8, trying to get just rook on this open file. This makes sense. I want to see this king h8 move at some point. Oh, because I'm worried about this diagonal having tricks like rook takes e5. So rook
Ooh.
takes e5, amazing move, but really tough, because now queen c4 and there's no way to defend this rook really. You have bishop takes e4 coming. This was tough.
Yeah, Nemo playing rook f5 walks into this beautiful rook sacrifice. Double exclam, brilliant, and now just simply queen c4. We see a handshake. So yeah, tough game for her. All starting with really the bishop block. Like if she blocks with the queen there, she's totally fine.
Yeah, but this shows like the importance of watching out for that kings. Like that f6 move looked really good, but queen c4 was a really testing move to see if she had a good response to it. So queen d5 would have held on strong, but unfortunately bishop d5, there's just some tactical responses against it.
Yeah, yeah. So maybe Ben Feingold is somewhere like saying, "I told you so." Uh, his f6 pawn senses are tingling. So this ultimately led to the check where Nemo needed to block with the queen because the bishop would remain defending the knight. And if we see the trade here, then the knight's still hanging. This pawn probably is very weak. Nemo would have had a much better shot here. She blocks with the bishop, allowing for the queen to take the knight. And yes, she gets the knight back, but unfortunately, she will lose a pawn in this variation. And as you called out, bishop takes doesn't work because this pawn will fall. So this is a really annoying pawn. This pawn takes away a lot of squares from our bishop and just from our pieces in general. And ultimately leading Nemo down to this path where she blunders rook f5. Really nice shot from the opponents. And again, we see this weakened diagonal put to good use by the opponent, bringing the queen. And here Nemo doesn't play anymore because no matter what you do to defend the rook, bishop takes on e4 is coming next, and you can say goodbye to this piece. So tough one there. This is one that you really wanted to get back against, a lower rated, well, I say lower rated compared to the international masters that she's been playing against. Opponent was technically 100 elo higher than her. So
And he played a really solid game, so caught every opportunity. So This was definitely a tough match. But we still have 2 games left, and still 2 games, 2 more opportunities.
Yes, she can end on 2 wins for sure. Also, like the later it gets, the more tiring it gets to keep playing. She like had to get a coffee break. Um, I mean, I don't want to come up with excuses for Nemo. Nemo will be the first to say like, "Oh, I should have won," or "I should have found whatever move," like Queen D5, right? Um, yeah, and the other game where she lost on time, like Rook takes C6, right, is another move that was missed. It's these one move misses that can really cost you. Also, like the choice to play F6. Um, it's a good move to kick out the knight, but it's a risky move that you have to know how to defend against that diagonal, right? So every game is tough. Chess is tough. I don't know how you can do it so well at a high level. Like it's got to be stressful, right?
Yeah, I think for me personally, I think it's really important to just, if you have a setback or you have a loss, to just, learn your lesson from that and move on like right away. Like I don't like to linger. Like I think that's the thing I'm the best at. I just tend to get over it really fast. So sometimes that's a bad thing just because I think I should sit there more and be a little more upset because so then that result doesn't happen again. But it's definitely also a virtue um, because you want to focus on your next match and you want to keep fighting.
Have you ever like withdrawn from a tournament? Like you just feel like it started off so poorly that you're just like, I'm done.
It's happened very rarely. I think the last time it's happened for me, that was because this was when I was in college and I was trying to play a tournament during thanks a break, I think it was Thanksgiving, and I honestly didn't start off that poorly, but it was just the way I was playing, I fell asleep in one of my games because I was so tired, and then I flagged in the winning position. Like it's a pretty strong I am. So then after that, I said it was time to go home. I can't be falling asleep during the game, but it was just because after midterms and after just the really hectic school schedule, I think I really needed that break, and playing a tournament was a little bit ambitious for me.
That's crazy. Falling asleep at the board is definitely a clear sign that maybe you should take a little bit of a break. But speaking of taking a break, I think Nemo's camera took a break. So it's just gonna be you and me buying some time for now. Um, but yeah, I mean, do you have any more chess stories like playing in college? You had to drop out of I mean, I myself haven't dropped out of any tournaments, but also like the level that I'm at compared to, as a player like yourself, my chess is very casual, right? Very low stakes, right? If I lose a game or lose a tournament, it's like, okay, nothing really changes. But like if you lose a game or a tournament, it's like, okay, there goes the championship title, with like tens of thousands of dollars or whatever.
I think the toughest moment like in my career was the 2022 US Championship, the one where I blundered the bishop that we're talking about earlier, just because when I first lost that game, I thought I lost everything. I blundered, like I thought it was such a simple mistake that I hadn't done since I was a kid, and then I was in the leader, I was first at the time, and after that loss, I was half a point away, so I thought I threw away everything, but um it was a lot to get over because that was definitely the most challenging since there's so much on the line. But eventually, I was just like, okay, the past is the past. It was a really horrible mistake, but there's nothing I can do to fix that. So, um, it, yeah, I was definitely really upset for quite a bit, but I'm really happy that I managed to focus in my last game and lock in. And eventually, I was lucky that there was a playoff, and that went my way.
Yeah,
So that's my little fun little story. I don't know if that was fun, but
no, I think it's amazing. Like like talking about having a bad game or tournament and like even withdrawing or whatever, like you could have bad moves within a game and feel like quitting or resigning, right? But you dig deep, you find, oh, we have some audio actually from Nemo's setting up her cam again. I don't think chat can hear it, um but yeah, you drop a piece and you still play. I myself like never really resign online, but like over the board it's a bit different. Um, let me message Nemo that it's back.
Yeah, something is happening right now.
Well, she's working on it. But yeah, Jennifer, maybe you could tell the fans what to expect once you finish the school year. You're gonna start streaming more. Are you gonna do like any over the board tournaments that you want to stream? Did you hear me?
It,
Okay, she's got the camera back. Do you have any plans for your stream, Jennifer, in the future?
yes. I don't want to make any promises because I feel like I have to. I don't know. Wait. Oh, she's talking in the back. I'm like, I'm hearing so many things going on. I'm not sure what's happening. But yeah, like I hope that I'm gonna start streaming a bit more this summer. I have to get past the end of the school year with finals and final projects and papers. So hopefully I can compete a bit and stream this summer.
Yeah, well, you got a lot of people that are gonna be looking forward to that. So I see people saying more streams, please, uh, including one of your biggest fans, Ulan, who is a founder, and he's been subbed for over 4 years.
I appreciate that.
That's dedication right there. Yeah, actually, we can hear Nemo. So hold on. Let me turn her mic on.
Wait,
Everyone say hi to Nemo.
I have like a delay. Oh no, it's muted. Oh, I can hear myself on this broadcast. Hello. Wow,
She's
the
saying
audio's
hi.
actually working.
So the
Is there, like,
camera
laughter?
died,
You guys
but it
can
was
tell.
kind of a blessing in disguise because now that it's back, we also have the audio. So yeah, that's exciting.
Thanks for the support, Chad. I appreciate it. I got 2 more games. I'm gonna try to. It's not in sync. That's okay. All right, I'm gonna be myself again.
It sounds good to me. But yeah, 2 games left in the tournament. We're almost at the finish line here. You've been watching candidates at all, or not so much?
Oh, sorry. I'm like so confused on what is happening right now. Yeah, I've been watching it here and there. I need to catch up on a couple of the games, over the weekend. But I am following this tournament. Um, do you have any bets on who the winners are?
I don't have any bets, but I have a favorite. I'm rooting for Fabi.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I mean, I just tend not to. I'm always pretty impartial in these. I just like to watch. I just like enjoy seeing what's going on. I feel like I'm like the boring person at like sport games or chess games where I'm just like, oh, I'm just here for the vibes. Like I don't need to support a specific person. Um, but there's definitely a lot of great players in here that I think are wonderful, and I'm excited to see how it turns out.
I just wish I wish Magnus was back in the candidates. I think that'd be really funny to see him like try to get the title back. But
Sorry, everybody's donut walling. I just spaced out a little bit. It happens sometimes. And there's so much the background noise.
yeah, it's a lot to take in.
Hmm.
So yeah, we're just waiting for Nemo's round 8. So this is like the longest break between rounds. I don't know why, but there's a lot that has to happen for pairings to get out, right? You gotta have all the scores updated. You know, sometimes players withdraw, or players forget to mark their results, and the arbiters have to like chase them down. All right, players are swapping sides here, it seems. So, all right, we're back in action. Do you know who the pairing is? Probably another tough player, I
I think
assume.
it's oh, she's actually playing down again.
Oh, that would make sense.
So she's playing a 1800. But this time she has white. So after 2 blocks, I'm looking at the standings and it looks like.
All right, folks, you should get your board in 20 seconds.
Yeah, it looks like there are 2 people tied for first place right now, which is Mamadarov and Topuranov, which is not surprising from the starting standings.
And that means they'll be playing each other, right?
Penultimate round.
If they
So
haven't
they're playing
already.
each other? Yeah, they're playing right now. They haven't played yet.
That's a big one.
So maybe we have some time after to take a look.
All right, handshakes, and the players are off. She's got the white pieces back to e4 in the French.
This is so nice because now we can hear the pieces. And
Yeah.
I love hearing the pieces. I think it's great, but okay, we in e4. Are you familiar with this opening, Joe?
I play e4 myself, so I do see a French fairly often, but I don't like playing against it. I've been playing like just knight c3 recently, but I originally started playing like the French exchange, and then when I started streaming on Twitch, I found out that everyone makes fun of you for doing that, so I quickly stopped.
So g6 to stop this battery, and now she castles queenside. So I think castling queenside is a really interesting choice, because now we have a opposite side castling. There's going to be an attack on the king side, and it's moving pretty fast with this with h4. But queen d5 is a good move, trying to trade this off, so there's no more mating threats.
Yeah, early
But
queen trade. I like opposite side castles. I like the H pawn push.
yeah, h5 here, still continue this idea makes sense. If you can get, one of the files open, that might be possible to create something, but rook e8 is definitely lining up a lot of possible trades now.
Yeah, with a lot of trades like this, I'm always kind of nervous that, oh, the king did a little hop there. The DGT board figuring out which square she wants it on. But yeah, when you trade a lot, you kind of run the risk of trading too much and getting into a position that's like really drawn and hard to get an advantage out of that. Do you think that's sort of what we're seeing here? Or do you think there's still a lot of room for both sides to push for something?
I think that because it's a knight versus a bishop, there are some possible ideas, but it's definitely a pretty dry endgame just because this bishop on d6 is protecting this e7 square. There aren't any obvious weaknesses to exploit. So that might be an idea to just try to create a weakness, either by pushing on the queen side, maybe a4 at some point, or maybe getting this knight at e5. But right now, it looks like there isn't anything too crazy. But I wonder if she played this king d2 move to maneuver from knight e1 to knight d3, but that might be an idea. Put the knight on d3.
Yeah, I suspect she was just trying to keep the rook out from getting to this second. But I like this knight back up to d3 idea, and this is probably what Nemo's doing.
Yeah.
Here's a fun little story. I was commentating someone else's over the board match, and I, on the call, like, didn't mute myself. So the entire tournament heard me for the first couple of moves. So, you know, the cameras are, we have their audio back. They can't hear us, clearly. They would have shown us, but I was worried at some points, like, can the opponent or the player hear the commentary, like, knowing what moves I'm calling for? Because you just called out the maneuver that she went for.
And now she's really going to try to push and create something, but this is a very equal endgame right now. It's just, it is possible to, yeah, I mean, you just want to create some chances, and it's possible for white to still create some chances. You know, maybe if you can get your knight in, it might be possible to attack some of these pawns, but I don't know. I think it's really hard to say, and there's like this rule where a lot of people say that in a situation when it's knight versus bishop, this bishop is better when the pawns are on the wings, on the two sides, because the bishop has more reach, and the knight is better when the pawns are in one side of the board. But here I think I kind of prefer the knight a little bit, just because you have a lot more flexibility, and you can jump on, you know, attack the pawn on d5, or you can change direction, and this bishop is kind of just wandering around.
Yeah, so those are all good points. We're seeing Nemo trying to work her knight in by first taking a step back. So back to e1, it's pivoted here a couple of times, and now opponent lashing out with b5. This is an interesting change in the pawn structure. But yeah, it's always curious, like, how do you know if the knight's better or the bishop's better? Bishop's typically favored when you have pawns on both sides, like you said, but a lot of times the knight is actually better than a bishop, because the knight can work on both color complexes. And here we see the knight's attacking a light square pawn. This is going to either make the pawn push or make the king move back to defend. And so Nemo can kind of poke and prod a little bit with her knights along the light squares. And when her opponent puts pawns on dark squares, that kind of conflicts with the dark square bishop. So she's going to still try to bounce around and see if she can induce some sort of weakness. And her opponent now, less than 30 seconds.
Oh yeah, I gotta watch out for the time. I didn't even know this, but she has 2 minutes versus 30 seconds, which is a huge difference. And in games like this, even though it seems so equal because you maneuvered the whole time, just one little mistake and the position can change suddenly. So we're gonna see if she can create something. It's just a little difficult because the pawns are so locked here. IH7, IH2, sorry. I think it might be a possible idea to play knight e3 in g4 and try to jump the knight into f5. I wonder if that's her idea, but it's also hard to see what goes on from there.
Yeah, like, where does the knight go from f5? That's definitely an idea, though, and she could totally go for it. I was mentioning pawns on the same color as your bishop. Okay, we see a couple moves, a trade here. But do you think, like, you want your pawns on dark squares to guard, like, if we push this g4 pawn, right, is there ever a threat of the bishop getting into f4?
I think in this position, you want your pawns on the light squares because, as you see here, like with bishop e1, it's just it gets really annoying when the bishop can attack them. So
Yeah.
I think here we're about to get a draw, right?
Yeah, it's very close to
it looks like it's
perpetual.
about
She
to-
might be forced to take on d5. Yeah, now she can bring the knight
Yeah.
back to defend the pawn. But this is even
So-
more drawn, right?
Yeah, this definitely is, just because there's a lot of weaknesses now to attack, but maybe there are some opportunities to be able to attack like the a pawn, but it's just really difficult to create chances now.
Yeah, when she has the pawns on dark squares, this is just forever targets. So I'm wondering if she should go for like f3 g4, and then that way try to bring her king around.
Oh, it looks like she did. I think the game board's not updating, but I see f3.
Yeah, okay. And the bishop did find its way to f4 at some point. So we're gonna see the moves flood in now. Check. Maybe knight a6 to c5.
Yep, I think that's what she's going for.
Yeah, it's tough though. Like her pawn on d4 always needs tending to. But maybe her king can get to c5. This would be a really big development. Oh, the computer doesn't like this last move.
Yeah, because now you have knight c7, and then there's this knight b5.
Oh!
So king b7.
This
Okay,
is huge!
now this
All the
changes
pawns are
everything.
falling! Oh my goodness, she's broken through.
And now she won the bishop.
Oh, let's
my
go.
God.
Beautiful fork. That's why the knights are better.
And that's why you want to keep playing, even when it looks drawish.
Yes, the time scramble. So the guy played a really solid game, but succumbed to time pressure in the end. And Nemo's back in the win column.
We're back, chat. We're back.
So yeah, the computer is calling this 98% accuracy for her and 91.9% for her opponent, which is a pretty good accuracy. But of course, it's tough to be accurate for such a long duration. Nemo really ground her opponent down in the time scramble. And she's all smiles now. She sees your reaction, so definitely show her some support. We have the hand heart.
Come on, chat,
rhythm.
when I see the hype.
The hearts.
But
hearts
no, that props to Nemo for projecting all those raw repetition opportunities and keep pushing for that win.
John, Candidate Blitz. This is like the side Blitz tournament for the candidates. It's in Toronto. I don't know. There's an events page that has like, I can actually put. There's a chess results page.
And then I wonder if she can talk to chat now. But it looks like she's having a conversation.
Well, there's other games probably still being played, so I think she's being quiet.
Alright. Maybe we can pull up if the Mamedaro game? Oh, they already drew.
Okay.
Wait,
so,
okay. It says it was a 4-move draw, so
Wow.
nothing too interesting there. 5-move draw.
What's your fastest draw?
My fastest draw? I've definitely had, I think, in quick draw at the end of a tournament a couple times back when I was younger and I had to go home. But I think it's definitely just like an opening draw at some point. But I don't do them too often, so it doesn't come to the top of my mind. But what about you?
No, my draws have been either really lucky for me or I don't know, probably blundering some stalemate or something. No, but I've never had a GM draw, as they call it. Yeah. I don't even know how I would, like I know people say like, oh, the Berlin is like one of the most famous draws or whatever. Like I know the Berlin opening, but I don't know how to like draw it from there. So I would probably mess it up, and then my opponent would get an advantage, and then wouldn't play for a draw anymore.
So it's just an opening. It's not a drawish opening to you.
Yeah. My kryptonite in chess is like opening knowledge in theory, because all I play is the Italian. Just e4. I play like the bishop, so bishop c4 instead of knight f3 first. Yeah. John's asking if I didn't take any GM draws in the money in Vegas. So I've won some money playing tournaments, but I played every game for a win. And I had to win the last round, actually, to win that one. So couldn't settle for anything less. Otherwise, I would have like tied for first or second or something.
Yeah, that's fair. I think I've had. Oh, I think one of the reasons I don't draw as much is because in the past when I was a kid, like a really young kid, when I was like 9 or 10, I'd play these national tournaments, and sometimes I was always a little higher rated. I think in some of them, like the all girls tournament, I was like the highest rated, and then I would get nervous in the last round, and I would take a draw, and I'd lose on the tie breaks every single time.
Oh.
Every single time I lose the tie break. So after that, I learned my lesson, and now I just never leave it up to chance. So I would rather play for a win and lose than than take an easy way out, because I feel like if the difference is between second and third place, you might as well just go for the win, because there's no difference. It's like second place and everything else. First place and everything else.
Yeah, lesson learned the hard way, and I think it served you well. Like you have this always fight mentality, never give up, no easy way out, and you definitely have a very like aggressive play style. And yeah, you won a lot of tournaments because of it, and now you're a U.S. Women's Champion. So, I mean, that's gotta be a good feeling, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think Nemo also showed a lot of that, kind of like that mindset, just going for a win this game, because like, sometimes you just want to push, especially after a few games that didn't go your way. You just want to push to get that win. And it sounds like it's getting pretty loud in that playing hall. I feel like this is what happens in the middle of those tournaments. Everybody just wants to chit chat.
Yeah, so a lot of games are concluding. We have one final round to go, and you also got a raid from the Knight Sire, so thank you for that. People ask me if you're reading your own chat. I'm reading it for
Well, I am like flipping through chats right now. I see my own chat every little while, but oh, thank you for the raid. I didn't see that, but thank you.
Don't worry, guys. Jennifer's getting back into the streaming business, so it's going to take her. I've been so bad to read chat, like on my own streams, that I feel bad. Like when people say goodnight or like that they're leaving now, I'll miss it, and then I'll like say goodbye to them after they left, like for 5 minutes already. So. Anyways, we are streaming on like 5 different platforms right now. We're live on Nemo's Twitch and YouTube, my Twitch and YouTube, and Jennifer's Twitch. So, yeah, if you tune in, let us know where you're coming in from.
It's starting to quiet down, so this seems like a good sign that the pairings are coming out. Oh, is she talking to Arya? It sounds like you're talking about the Queen Blunder.
That's funny. Yeah, I'm curious to see what the standings look like right now.
So it looks like there's 3 people. Oh, Aryan is at the top. After he gets come back from that Queen Blunder, and he's sharing first place right now with Mamedarov and Cheparinov, who just drew their last game.
So he's got a chance to win it all, and yeah, I think that's really like amazing. You could just blunder your queen like game 3 of the tournament and not let that get to you, and you keep going. And now he's back at the top. So he's climbed his way back after a pretty big blunder. And yeah, we were hoping that he would play against Nemo, so probably not going to happen now. But I'm sure they played like earlier this week even. Like, I'm sure people can tell me. They've been playing all like at the bar.
They're pub chess?
Yeah. So it looks like Nemo is top 10 right now. Do you think she'll play up?
In top 10, it looks like um, everybody is higher rated than her. And on top of so like I think that if she doesn't play up, she'll play similar 4.5 points. That's also well, that's Mark Plotkin most likely. So I think she's definitely playing around at least the 2400 this game, if not higher.
That's gonna be tough, but she's got a great chance to end on a good note here. Would love to see her play against Mark, streamer versus streamer, former teammate, classmate at University of Toronto. But if she plays up, she's going to play a Grandmaster, which would also be very exciting. So, yeah, either way, she's got one last round to go. She's 5 out of 8. She's got fans that want to take some pictures. That's another great thing about these over-the-board events is it's a great time. Like, a lot of us chess players just are chronically online, myself included. But whenever there's an event or tournament that you can go to, it's a great time to meet a lot of people. And for Nemo, it's a time to meet fans and here taking pictures between rounds. It's always a good memory to have. Yeah, good times.
No, it's honestly, it's like really heartwarming to see just like people getting to know each other and making friends like at tournaments. Like that's always the best part about tournaments. Like what I always loved when I was a kid, just to meet all the other people who like also had the same experiences and interests as me. Because there wasn't that many people who played chess at my school growing up, any of my school. So it was always at these tournaments where you could play chess with other people your age.
And what's the chess like at Harvard? Do you guys have a club? Do you like go to the meetings regularly, or do you not have enough time?
Yeah, we do have a club. I am technically on the board, so I help organize some of the events. And we don't have as much. We aren't able to travel as much and compete just because of school, but we always try to compete in Pan Ams every year, just because it's over winter break and it's always fun to, play a college tournament and see where all of your friends ended up. Like I remember my first year at Pan Ams, I just saw so many players I grew up with who I lost touch with over the years, and it was just really fun to see like what college they end up going to and where they are at in life. And that's just honestly like it's just like an annual reunion almost.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think Harvard also like plays. There's like an Ivy League championship. There's like a rivalry match with Yale. I think whenever they organize it.
We try to do so. Like the Harvard Yale football game is like our one big tradition. So we always try to do like a chess match during it as well. But I think unfortunately more people care about the football game than the chess match. But it's a pretty long tradition.
Yeah, and Yale has a pretty strong club. I know they have Grandmaster Nicholas Cheka, who's like been really good for them. Are you the strongest player at Harvard, or do you concede that to someone else?
We're all like around the same rating, except I take my rating, but there's a lot of FMs on the team, so we're all pretty, I just take the rating a lot over the last year, so it's definitely not me right now, but we definitely have a lot of strong players. And so for the last round, looks like the parents are out now. Oh, the parents are kind of weird because Chaparinov is playing at 2000. How did this...
That is a good question. I can't explain it myself.
Hello everyone, thank you very much for coming tonight to Alex's Club.
We can take a listen to the arbiter.
Thanks to all the grandmasters who came from so far and played here. There will be some prize funds at the end of the evening.
Yeah.
The top 3 players, top woman player, and top ACC player. Actually. Also, every year we award the Alex Cup to the best Blitz player in Toronto. And this year it will go to the winner of this event. So thank you everyone. Thank you to the team of arbiters who did a wonderful job tonight. Please give them a big round of applause.
I'm joining in the clapping now.
And please come see us at the end of the evening if you think you want a prize. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'll just add 2 quick things. There's no cash on site.
Okay,
Folks, it was a pleasure. There was only one ruling I had to make on the bottom board, the illegal move, which is standard. There were no controversies. Thank you for that. More videos are going to show up on YouTube. Keep that up, guys. For all the GMs, safe travels back. We show up on cross paths at some point. It was a pleasure to host you. Please start your clock.
Yay! Okay.
All right. Well, we have handshakes and the games are underway.
I wonder if the parents are off because there might be a lot of players who aren't on DGT, so they're not factored in on the standings on chess.com. Because otherwise, she should definitely be playing up. So it looks like we're a little off there. And here we get pretty normal opening.
Yeah, that definitely makes a lot of sense with players missing because they're not all the boards are on DGT, so we're missing the full results. But I think Nemo actually has a good chance of winning maybe the top women's prize, which is like a couple $100, which would be nice. But okay, so she's ending with black. She is the favorite here for sure. Another 1800 opponent. They castle. Nemo castles. How do you feel about her position so far?
Pretty common kind of setup, but right now I feel like it makes sense for Wright to take this knight like he did and to put pressure on this file because this seems like the main weakness in black's position right now, which is this weak c6 pawn and also the c5 square. So knight b3 is also another good move. And here I think like there's a lot of good ideas for white. So knight d2 makes sense. You want to trade off this e4 and play c5. So her opponent is making a lot of really great positional decisions right now. And I think she's really going to be challenged in the next couple of moves to find a good way to defend and create counterplay.
Yeah, this is tough, but she's definitely shown she's been able to get out of some trickier situations before. I feel like all the players that are lower rated than her have played really well and then just mess up in the end in the time pressure. So this could very well be a very similar situation to this. She just has to find the active defense and hold on here. So we see rook to b4. She's lifting the rook, and we see this trade.
Yeah, I don't know if I like knight takes e4 as much, just because I think once you take the pawn, there's some chances for this d4 pawn to get weak. But f3, for example, would have kicked this knight out, and you would have all the benefits of getting the knight out, like here, except this you wouldn't have d4 as big as a weakness. But so already, I think this is going in a better direction for Nemo, just because she's got her rooks doubled, and now I think you can honestly put more pressure here on the knight. And yeah, like bishop e6, this is great. And it's already turning around for her.
Yeah, I think this is something where I can kind of comment on. I think as the weaker player, when you see this capture on e4, you instinctively just think that like the bishop would retake, right? It looks very weird to double isolate your c-pawns. But taking with the pawn is definitely the more skillful approach because it allows for the bishop to come back, right? It opens up the queen on the d file. And here we see an early, not back rank mate just yet. Opponent can give up the queen, but this game's already over.
Okay. Queen e3 was, yeah.
Wow.
This turned around really fast. Like, this was not, like, if you showed me the position, like, 4 moves ago, yeah, I would not have thought this is how it would have turned out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
that's a good way to end the tournament. A
Well, I
quick
guess
win.
that's a great way. Yeah. And does that clinch the top woman prize for her?
That's a great question. If it's based off the chess.com results, I think yes. But as you mentioned, there are probably more participants that are not listed because they're not playing on DGT boards. So I'm not entirely sure. Also, huge shout out to Chestina. Thank you for the raid. Just to show everyone that might have missed it because this game went so quickly. Also, it looks like we might be getting a tour of the playing hall as Nemo might be leaving. We might have an interview. Also, shout out to Hema for the 5 gifted subs. Let's look at this game. We had an Italian, Joko piano, trade both sides castle, kingside, and here's where white gets a slight edge, taking the knights, doubling the pawns, and right here, knight takes, allowing for pawn takes, a great decision from Nemo to open up for her pieces, and this allowed her to get the counterplay against, you know, this open c file. She wins back some material here, and leading to this blunder, queen e3. She gets the back argument.
Take the board out now. Yeah, it was like.
It's kind of blocking her. Anyways, all right. I don't know if
Oh, you guys can hear me?
Yes.
Oh, someone
Oh,
says
hi.
make the board bigger.
Sorry, I'm literally just trying to fix the camera. I can't hear you guys. I'm just trying to figure out why this is lagging so much. Okay.
It's the internet.
It's just super, super laggy. Okay. Be right back. I'm just not have it lag. It's just lagging. I'll let the commentators do their jobs.
So maybe we'll do a quick interview with her. Oh, well, we'll see. But in the meantime, while we wait, I don't know if anyone has any questions in the chat for Nemo. I'm assuming she'll be back.
You can do Q&A.
Yeah, you've done a lot of interviews after tournaments and after games. Do you feel like players, well, you can give us a better insight, right? When you go into a tournament like that, that's like really high stakes, like heavily broadcasted, a lot of people tuning in. Do you have to like agree to a certain amount of interviews or something? Is it kind of just like expected of you? Can you decline the interviews, or it kind of varies between whatever tournaments you're playing in?
I think it depends on the tournament. There are some tournaments where in order to play, you have to sign a contract, and in your contract, it lets you know that you are obligated to give an interview. I know some players have refused in the past, but like that's just, I don't know. Personally, I'm just like, if I agree to do it, I'm gonna do it, and I don't mind doing an interview. Like I think it's fun. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time. I think it was definitely scary when I first started, and I was like 12 or 13. But you know, I've had a lot of experience now at this point. But I think it's definitely tough for some of the top players when they're expected to give an interview after a tough result, because you just want to go back into your room and not see anyone at that point. I think it's definitely difficult to face a camera. Oh, sorry. Let me leave my little monologue. I think is she. We can fix the camera.
Camera looks good to me.
Or I think she's on Discord.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if I have a scene for her Discord call. Well, it will definitely mess up the scene, but that's okay. I can't hear her though. Is she talking? It might be better if she stayed on her phone, honestly, but maybe she can't be on both Discord and the phone at the same time. Can the commentators see the chat? No. Why is chessboard behind you so rectangular? That's just a decorative piece. That's not, it's for display purposes only.
Okay, so sorry, chat. It's gonna take a minute, but we're gonna figure this out. We're gonna.
Oh, yeah, we can
Oh
hear you.
yeah.
Okay, hi. Sorry if it's lagging. I apologize. I don't know why the data is so bad in here. It's just like terrible.
You're doing great.
Oh,
And we can hear and see you loud and clear.
okay, perfect. I'm hearing you guys on Discord, so this is working out. But thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for commentating. It was fun.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Back to 30 FPS. Oh well, that's okay. Do we know how Kasanuk is doing?
It looks like. I think a lot of the games aren't showing up on chess.com, but it looks like she is having a pretty. Well, the computer says that it's around even, but there's a bit of a imbalance going on.
Oh,
So it's going to be.
she might have won.
She'll have. No, she has like a knight and a couple of pawns versus a rook.
Got it. Okay. Oh, we're echoing apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you have headphones.
Oh. All right. That's unfortunate.
Oh, it's showing Kristiniak won.
Oh, and yeah, it just updated and she won.
Oh, she won? Okay, that means I'm not gonna win Best Female prize.
Dang.
But you also played like many IMs in a row, and the first couple were back to back was going crazy.
Thank you. It was honestly super duper fun. I was really expecting to play against like some grandmasters potentially, but I guess that just didn't happen. So it is what it is. I feel like that one game in the middle might have really thrown me off. Like that one game where I should have drawn.
Yeah, that's
that
tough.
was definitely tough. Yeah, it was it just by time?
Yeah, I lost by time. It sucked.
Well, I mean, other than that, like, I think you played really good games. Even against that guy, like, you were still beating him. Just came out to a draw, and then the flag, of course, is unfortunate. But I think it was really cool to see you beating up, 2,400 plus rated players in a national masters. And even though you didn't get, like, the best results, you still had a really good tournament.
Thank you. It was super fun. I really enjoyed it. And, like, playing over the board Blitz, I feel like I have a much better chance relative to when I play against, like, if I ever played them over the board, I think in Blitz is the one time control in which I have a chance.
No, you definitely made it really difficult for them. There are a lot of really interesting games on the board, and I liked how you came back even after that tough loss there in the middle with the flag.
Yeah, thank you. I'm really excited to go back and watch you guys do the commentary on it, because I feel like I missed so many moves that could have been good. So I'm really excited to go back and look.
Well, I hope that you don't see all the production mistakes. There's probably a couple of them, but...
That's okay. Yeah, I won my last game. Yeah. That's all right. Thank you, though. I really appreciate it. I'm going to let you guys go. I know it's super late, and this went like half an hour over, but I really appreciate you guys. Thank you all so much, and thank you both to the commentator. Oh, wait, did the internet just fix itself? It looks like it's lagging a lot less now.
Well, Nemo, what's next for you? Anything the fans can look forward to?
I want to play more Blitz tournaments. I heard there's a Rapid tournament in Toronto at some point soon, so I might look to play that. But I don't know. I'll mostly try to look for Blitz tournaments. So I'll find something that's close, hopefully.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much again.
Yeah.
This was a lot of fun, and good luck in your next Blitz tournaments, whenever that is. And Jennifer, it's been such a pleasure and an honor to commentate with you. I'm really lucky.
Yep, thank you both of you guys for having me here. This was a lot of fun, and good luck in your future events.
All right, so we're gonna have to find someone to raid. Yeah, mods, if you could help the raid, I'm gonna end. I'm assuming you're done as well. So yeah, I don't have like an exit scene or anything. Maybe I'll just end the stream and then you guys just go off into the raid. But yeah, all right, looking forward to your next streams too, Jennifer, by the way.
Yep, I'll do it. I'll do it. I'm holding myself accountable this time, but probably in the summer.
Awesome.
I just have to, but can't wait.
All right, looks like we're gonna raid Danya, so that'll be exciting. All right, thanks everyone, and yeah, take care. Have a good one. Thanks again.